Hey guys, Jay, welcome back to the channel. you know, ever since I started this channel, I first started this channel without an intro, so that's the first thing I think I should mention. But when I made this channel, I decided that it was going to be an anime channel, right? And I'm still sort of I still love Japanese anime. I still have. I always will. And if anybody hasn't noticed, the full intro of my show, it just has nothing but anime in it, and I never bothered changing it all these years later. I mean, here, just take another look at it. I mean, like seriously, if you actually look if you actually look at this thing, like there's no toys here. There's absolutely no toys. It literally is just nothing but anime. Check it out. You might also notice a few things. Like I don't know what it was when I first started my channel. I had this weird thing about standing out. I guess I was thinking about what can make me stand out. What is it that I can do to look different, whatever. And I started out by wearing these headphones. For I think for the first I think it was like the first 5 or 6 episodes of my channel. I was just wearing for no reason. Like they're not even plugged in. There's actually there's actually no music. There's no music going through there. There's nothing. I can't even hear anything actually because like there were these huge headphones. I still have them. Those are my Sony headphones. And for anybody who actually likes to watch the React channels, that's the same brand of headphones that they used to use like years ago. So I used to just have these headphones all the time, and I would just wear them for no apparent reason. I just thought it kind of looked cool. I don't know. I was just doing some funky things. But yeah, I was showing off my laser disc there. You saw like the first one was Bao, and the second one was Vampire Hunter D, which is actually celebrating its I do believe it actually is its 40th anniversary this year. So a lot of crazy things happening. And then and that's Calm from Outlanders. So yeah, I mean I was just doing some funky things back then. I was trying everything, but yeah, I haven't changed this intro. I haven't changed this intro since the first time I actually made it. So, wow, just crazy. And if anybody was wondering, probably nobody wonders this, but the song is an original song by my good friend James from Epic Game Music. He did this amazing arranged song for me, and he actually gave me two versions. So there are actually two versions of the song. Actually, no, there are multiple versions. There are actually like 5 or 6 versions of it. But this is the one I chose. I thought it was really appropriate, and now everybody knows this song for Mega J Retro. But I still find it fascinating that after all these years, I've never actually changed the intro. I was thinking about doing it multiple times, so many other times, and the only reason that really came up as a thought was today. Danny, I did a show with Danny today with Titans Talking Toys, which was a good episode actually. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on Titan Toys YouTube page. He we did it. I played my intro, and he's like, I don't have an intro. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to change that, Danny. Because Danny's starting up his YouTube channel, and it's always hard when you start a YouTube channel. You oftentimes you don't know what to do. You don't have a set topic. Obviously, Danny wants to do toys and things like that. But yeah, I just thought to myself, wait a second. Thinking back now, I've never changed my intro. My intro has never has never really changed, and I thought that was hilarious. The other reason I think it came up in my radar is I got a notice from YouTube the other day that yeah, this is my apparently I didn't even know this. Apparently, this is my ninth. Like I think in 2 days or so, this is the ninth year of me being on YouTube as a content creator. I thought that was scary. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, has it really been 9 years? And I look back at my very first video, and yeah, it's been about 9 years since I started actively making videos for YouTube. I'm pretty surprised by that. It was really quite a shock. Now, when I first made my account for YouTube, that was like back in 2012. So it's been a lot longer since I've been on YouTube. But since I've actually been making content for YouTube, it's been about 9 years, and I'm surprised. That means that next year is going to be my 10th anniversary for being here on YouTube. That's crazy to think about that. I've been doing this for 10 years on and off, and more frequently in the last the last 8 years, the last 7 or 8 years. I think it's more like 7 years that I've actually been doing it actively. So wow, it's been quite the ride. I got to tell you. As the title of this episode live stream, sorry, this live stream suggests, um, I'm I just want to talk a bit about my hobbies and how. I mean, I love toys. Obviously, toys are a big part of my life, especially now. But I have a lot of other hobbies. I have a lot of other hobbies. Um, first of which is of course my love of anime. Anime is a big part of my life. It's always been a big part of my life, and I got into anime really early. It was literally I was in high school when I got into anime, and even before that, I was looking at anime and I didn't even know it. Because a lot of us don't realize that Japanese animation has actually been in the United States for the longest time. If you think of any Sunbow cartoons, if you think of any cartoons from the early '80s, and even some cartoons you might not even think about, GI Joe was actually animated by Japanese animators. The Sunbow cartoons, Transformers, GI Joe, all of that was outsourced to Japan. If you look at any of the cool intros that are from GI Joe or from Transformers or from and even straight series which were imported from Japan, like Voltron, like Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs, you know those are all animations from Japan. And Robotech, right? I did a whole episode of Robotech with my good friend Ken of Ken of Toy Connections. Yeah, all of that is. If you didn't know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows by now. But those are all animated in Japan, and that's really what started my love of Japanese animation. Sorry. As a matter of fact, even the first few episodes of my channel were about Force Five, my absolute favorite cartoon of the 1970s, late 1970s. I was absolutely enthralled with. Actually, I think it was the early 80s. It's one of those things, but I don't know if any like how many of you out there remember Star Vengers? Remember Guy King, um, Space Cateers, Grandizer, Grandizer, Vanguard Ace. Do those names ring a bell to anybody? Because it depends on the region that you were in. Jim Terry Productions, I think, had several deals with several different local broadcasters, but it wasn't really a big thing in many markets. I talk about this a lot. How certain anime and certain cartoons didn't actually make it everywhere. Like not everybody um, was able to get the Adventures of the Galaxy Rangers. That didn't broadcast everywhere. A lot of people are like, what the hell are you talking about? What's the Galaxy Rangers? What is that? Not everybody was able to enjoy Dino Saucers. Like a lot of people have no idea what Dino Saucers is. Um, there's a lot of different cartoons that actually did not uh, make it into certain regions. So you could be in one city like New York or Buffalo, right? Like I used to watch Buffalo, WTV Buffalo 29, which was bought by Fox, I think in the mid 90s or I think it was early. Actually, now that I think about it, it was the early 90s. But when I was growing up, it was called WTV Buffalo 29. That was the station. That was the station identification. And when they were bought by Fox, I thought the whole thing freaking changed. I did not like when they changed over to Fox. Um, but yeah, that's why I discovered Voltron. That's why I discovered not Macross, Robotech. I discovered so many different cartoons around that time, and it wasn't until much later that I started discovering that these were actually Japanese animations. And I thought that was great. When I finally discovered that they were actually animated in Japan and that was all anime, And the reason I discovered that the reason I realized that they were actually Japanese animations was I realized that they were so much better. The animation quality was so much better. You would look at Voltron, and you would look at like GI Joe, and you would look at what's the other one? Thundercats, right? You look at Thundercats. You would look at all these animations, and they were done by Rack and Bass. They were done by Sumbo Animation. They were done by all these, and you would say, why is it that Thundercats looks so much better than Scooby Doo? You would just like why was there such a shift in dynamic, design? Now, obviously, those are two completely different genres, right? One is super comedy, the other one is actually action adventure, right? Um, but then you look at like cartoons like Gummy Bears, right? Or Rescue Rangers, right? And yes, the style is very different, but at the same time, the animation, the fluidity, the cell shading, all these types of things that you look at the animations, you would start realizing, okay, something's going on here. Like the way this is animated from Disney is definitely not the way it was animated for GI Joe. Now, I will admit, and there's a lot of debate about this. Um, the keyframing between GI Joe and Disney is actually not as fluid. If you actually look at the early episodes of GI Joe and some of the key episodes of GI Joe, you notice that the way they keyframe things, it's actually not the same. Disney, prides themselves on fluid animation. You know what I mean? Like really, really fluid animation in their episodes, and I did recognize that. But there was just something so special about GI Joe, Thundercats. You know what I mean? Those types of animations that I was like, something else, something's going on here, something's different, and that's when I discovered, that anime was a thing. And around the '90s, I really just dove and really got into anime when it was first starting to get into the mainstream, like with companies like Animego and A Division and US Renditions, and a lot of these companies that just do not exist anymore. Um, sorry, manga, right? A lot of people are like, well, manga is comics, right? A lot of people know those comics, but way back in the day, manga was an actual company that did Japanese animations, right? They were the ones who Manga Video. They're the ones who brought over for the very first time and brought it into theaters. Ghost in the Shell. I didn't bring Ghost in the Shell, but Ghost in the Shell was actually first brought over to the United States by a company called Manga Entertainment, right? Manga Video. This, of course, is one of my very favorite animes from back in the day. It's called Aim for the Top, Gunbuster. There are a whole bunch of different animes which I recommend. Another one, of course, is Bio Booster Armor Guyver. This is a great, if you're into like alien conspiracies and stuff like that. This is actually a really cool anime to watch. It's really really fun. It also helps that it's actually more like Power Rangers. This is very much like a Power Ranger Sentai show. They got the rubber monsters. They got a whole bunch of different things in this series. It was such a, honestly, I love this series. This series was really freaking awesome. But then you know what? I also loved rom-coms for anime. I loved Oh My Goddess, right? This is Oh My Goddess from Animego, but Oh My Goddess, right? Which is what this actually is. This was such a great anime at the time. I really loved it. I fell in love with it. Um, um, Kyosuke Fujishima, who was I believe the author. He did works like Oh My Goddess. He did You're Under Arrest, and he did what's it called? Ex Driver, right? So a lot of great animes which are remembered very fondly today and are still going. The manga is still going even today, as I understand it. Oh My Gosh is still going on today. Um, and then you have like really deep dramas. Like if you want to really just, and I'm not afraid to say this, if you want to cry and bawl your eyes out, try watching Grave of the Fireflies. This is a ridiculous movie. It was done by Studio Ghibli, and this is let's just say that you have to be mentally prepared to watch this film. This film was ridiculous. But yeah, this was a tearjerker. It was emotionally scarring. Like seriously, like this thing, if you're not ready to watch something which will scar you emotionally, don't watch this film. It's crazy. Um, it's been released multiple times by multiple companies. This one was released by Central Park Media way back in the day. So this was a very, again, these are like classic animes right here. Um, and then one of my favorite creators, Gona Guy, who's still really popular today, created series like Cutie Honey, which is just absolutely it's so it is so cheesecake. It's not even funny. But it's still very, very popular today. There have been multiple renditions of this in live action, in anime, in so many different reboots. But it's basically about a cyborg who's here to defend one family, really, but at the same time, she's just a normal girl who wants to save the world. And this was the OVA from the mid 1990s, and the animation on this is ridiculous. Like, I think you can tell from the cover, her clothes are actually her weapons, and when she does her honey flash, I think you can sort of figure out what that means. But that is one of my absolute favorite animes. Not just because of certain things, guys. Like, let's be adults here. No, let's not be adults. We don't need to be adults. Um, and then of course, one anime that I just continue to go back to all the time is Record of Lotus War. Of course, I'm a D&D fan. I'm so huge to sword and sorcery and everything like that. So yeah, Record of Lotus War, great series, based on a series of role playing novels from back in the day. But I love the series. I love the whole concept of thieves and magicians and mages and priests and elves. And of course, I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. Another one of my hobbies, which we can talk about too. But yeah, this is anime was a huge part of my life, man. Like, it was really crazy. But so was equally so was cartoons. Cartoons was just a big part of my life, and really helped shape this channel. As a matter of fact, one of my all-time favorite cartoons by Don Bluth, the former animator at Disney, but then he ended up going into his own company and making some crazy stuff like Secret of Nim. The Secret of Nim. If you guys, who doesn't know the secret? This is freaking crazy. By the way, it's VHS. By the way, I found this at a Goodwill. Actually, no, I found this actually at a different thrift store. I can't remember the name now. But I found it at a thrift store for only $1.99. I can't believe it. I was so awestruck when I found this for $1.99 at a thrift store. I think I have it on. I think I have it on video. I really should release it sometime. But this is one of my absolute all-time favorite films. If you guys haven't seen The Secret of Nim, please buy the DVD. God damn it! How the hell did I do that? Anyway, um, a great film. Great film. You can tell this is kind of off the cuff. I wasn't really planning on this. I was just wanted to come on here and talk with you guys and just hang out as we usually do on these Saturdays. Um, and yeah, just talk a little bit about the channel. Talk a little bit about what's happening right now with toys a little bit and my hobbies, man. My hobbies that I do outside of toys. I mean, like, I think all of us have, fun little hobbies that we do. I might even talk about the kind of strange hobbies I have. Not that collecting toys isn't strange, or collecting movies isn't strange, but I would love to talk with you guys about your hobbies and what you guys like to do. And I want to talk about some stuff that's coming up and some things I'm really paying attention to right now. So thanks for dropping by, guys. Like, I know I know it's sometimes these things are really surprising when I when I just decide to go live, but and apparently somebody accused me of going live every day this week, which I think is actually true. I think I was live streaming every day this week at least, but depending on who I decided to live stream with. Time scales, what's going on, Grego? Good to see you. If and when I interview Jay, there's one of the questions I had written down. What are your other hobbies? Well, Grego, you are getting a first-time glimpse at what my other hobbies are tonight. But feel free to ask me again, on your interview. I think that would be fun. JB, what's going on, bro? Big J, what's up? Not much, brother. Good to see you. Always good to see Big JB. Justin Mohan, dude, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a minute. Always great to see Justin Mohan. Ray's in the house. What's up, Ray? Good to see Ray. Frankie Rivera. Let's go. Happy joy. Jonathan Chong. Wow, what's going on, John? Good to see you. Wait, other hobbies since when? I have way too many hobbies. Yes, we do. We have way too many hobbies, Jonathan. Way too many. Lord Hoagie's in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Looks like a Sony headset. Correct. Very good eye, Grego. Very good eye. I'm just double check my videotape here. I dropped it. I don't know how I dropped it, but I dropped it. Yes, it still is a Sony headset. Clint Jorgensen, Jay, do you watch or play Pokemon? No. Pokemon was literally, and I do mean literally, just after my time. I moved on from the Game Boy to the PlayStation. No, sorry. What am I talking about? I moved on from the Game Boy to Super Nintendo, from the Super Nintendo to the Saturn. From the Saturn, I moved on to the PlayStation. From the PlayStation, I moved on to the no, from the PlayStation, I moved on to the Saturn. From the Saturn, I moved on to the PlayStation 2. From the PlayStation 2, I went to 3, 4, and so on. So, no, I did not play Pokemon, which is why I don't freaking go crazy and try to beat people up at, Costco or any of these other places just to buy Pokemon cards. That is just crazy. That is just crazy. Jonathan Chong, why change what works, right? Yeah, why change what works? No, absolutely. The intro, I don't think anybody really understands. And and you know what? For my actual show, I shortened it down to pretty much just the rotation intro. So I think a lot of people don't even see that anymore unless you actually watch the streams, which is fascinating, right? But I am thinking about updating my intro. I am thinking about it. What do you guys think? Like, what should I put in my intro? I would love to know what you guys think. What would be appropriate, and what should I put in my intro? I think that would be a really cool idea. I think that would be neat. Andrew Davis in the house. One of my oldest hobbies is going to the club and collecting phone numbers. Dude, you're that gigolo, man. You're that gigolo. You're that pimp. You're that pimp boy. Jonathan Chung. Whoa, 9 years. I felt like it was yesterday when I used to see you at cons working the booths and tables. What the hell, Jonathan? You've been stalking me. Maybe it doesn't feel that long to me because I still work at the booth for Anime Store. Oh, Jonathan, we go way back, bro. We go way back. That's another one of my hobbies. We'll talk about that, Jonathan. We should talk about anime conventions. Justin Mohan, what are some of the good anime from the 80s and 90s? I've watched some, but there's always room for more. I just mentioned a whole bunch of them. My absolute all-time favorite anime of all time is Bubblegum Crisis. That will always be my 100% absolute all-time favorite anime. Gal Force is another one. Anything by Keiichi Sonada is actually really good. Gunsmith Cats, Gal Force, like I said, Bubblegum Crisis. All that is really cool stuff. Riding Bean, all those great anime of the past. So yeah, anything by Gainax, Neon Genesis Evangelion, the Secret of Blue Water Nadia. So many different. I got a whole Laserdisc tray full of great suggestions, and I'm reposting all of my anime reviews very soon. Because I took most of them down for algorithmic reasons, whatever that kind of BS is. But I did take them. I did take most of them down. A lot of people have been asking me about that, and I'm going to be switching them over to a channel called OG Mega J, or OG Mega J. I think that's what it's called. So yeah, I'll have a lot more recommendations. Bao is definitely one of my very first recommendations. Jonathan Strong, Voltron, Transformers, Astro Boy, correct. List goes on. Macross is better. Just saying. Well, that's debatable. A lot of people love Astro Boy just because of what it is. A lot of people love Transformers. Again, another wonderful Sunbow animation, right? Great stuff, Jonathan. Time Scale, Japan. Where is that? Yeah, where is that, by the way? If you guys haven't already, head over to the time scales if you want to check out some wonderful videos on Japan, some of the life that's experienced there, and of course, if you are into Doctor Who, definitely check out the time scales. Frankie Rivera, Clint Jorgensen, hey brother, what's going on? Jonathan, Granted, the toys aren't cheap when it comes to Chokugin. Yes, and I have the only Chokugin, the only SOC that I need, the soul of Chokugin. I have the only one that I need, and I do actually have that anniversary 100 Chokugin, and I should have really do a video about that. I really should. Frankie Rivera, still figuring out what direction to go with my channel, brother. You know what? Like I said, I'm on open book. If you want some help, if you want some suggestions, happy to help out anybody who wants to start out their channel. I'm always happy to help. Genom is gone now. Yes, Genom is gone. The Bubblegum Crisis world, and even Genom Entertainment or Genion Entertainment. I can't remember what they were calling it really. Nerd with a Suit. Justin Mohan, the original Dragon Ball is a good start. That's so Nerd with a Suit. Even though Dragon Ball did start in the 90s, it is so commercialized now with DBZ. But there's so many original anime like Crusher Joe, the Venus Wars, so many other anime out there. MD Geist, you know what I mean? A lot of great anime that was in the 90s, and a lot of people really enjoy it. Hokuto no Ken, Fist of the North Star, all those great anime from the past. JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, the original OVA from the 90s, not the one, not the several different versions that were done throughout the decades. A lot of places to go to. But yes, of course, DBZ and original Dragon Ball, not DBZ, original Dragon Ball is actually a really good place to start. Lord Hoagie, grew up watching Speed Racers, Star Blazers, Battle of the Planets. Yes, wonderful series all around. Absolute great picks, 100%. Nerd with a Suit, Justin Mohan. Also, the 80s run of Astro Boy is damn solid. Of course it is. Of course it is, especially those little segments where Astro would get a question wrong in his report, just to be able to play a game with you. Jonathan Chong, Genion is now gone. Genon is now gone to great company to stay. Absolutely. Rasta Flip, finally, Gaiva. Where is he? There he is. Gaiva. That's right. Show. Or in the case of Solid Snake, Sean. Anyway, Nerd with a Suit. Meant to say the original Dragon Ball. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Also, Cowboy Bebop. Yes, a wonderful series. Escaflowne. So many great, so many great anime out there. It's just amazing. Jonathan Chong, favorite rom-com and His and Her Circumstance. Wow, great one. His and Her Circumstance. Amazing anime. Yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. Nerd with a Suit. Oh man, Jay, you're not kidding. Grave of the Firelights is a brutal masterpiece. It really is. But you know what? You have to be mentally prepared. You have to be mentally prepared. It is a tearjerker, man. It's really, really deep. It is a psychological mind fuck. Well, not really. It's just really like emotional. Favorite Studio Ghibli film, but cry every time when the auntie serves the food. Yeah. Yep. I'm already sniffing. Jabbar Robin, sup? You got Gatchaman on Blu-ray? No, Blu-ray. No, I don't. Unfortunately, I think I have one DVD from the 90s reboot. Yeah, I know what you meant, bro. Timescale. Studio Ghibli Museum in Mintaka, Tokyo has a theater that seats about 100, and they show films that have never ever been released. That's awesome. I would love to see some of those. One of these days, I will definitely make the trek down there. Oh my God, Grego, that's crazy, dude. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Grego, for gifting 5 Mega J Retro memberships. Dude, you are freaking awesome. Of course, guys, like I said, please check out Timescales. Wonderful channel. And of course, if you are into Doctor Who or, like I said, learning about Japanese culture, you should definitely check out the Timescales. Thank you, Grego. Thank you, brother. You are awesome. Let's see here. Nerd with the Suit. Kiki's delivery service will always hold a special place in my heart. I cannot emphasize how much everything about Kiki speaks to me in an inner soul, and has stopped speaking and hasn't stopped speaking since I was 6. Which is a wonderful little way of saying that, because obviously one of the main characters actually stops speaking, but it's awesome nonetheless. Absolutely wonderful series. It's all about how you have to grow up, right? It's all about learning how to grow up and the consequences of not paying attention. So great stuff. Barefoot Jen, another wonderful movie, just a great film. Obviously, it is an incredible novel, an incredible manga, and another tearjerker. Very, very much so. Cutie Honey is awesome. Yes, Lord Hoagie, it's incredible. Jonathan Chong. Yes, I have the Record of Lotus War. Great series, agreed. Absolutely. It's seriously, to this day, still an incredible series. Yu Yu Hakusho. Yes, Yu Yu Hakusho is a great Great series. Reagan. Absolutely. 100%. Uh, plus, Mega One Piece fan here. Absolutely. One Piece is definitely, I mean, still going today. Still going incredibly strong today. Draconin. Fist of the North Star. Battleship Yamato. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Great picks, everybody. Big Rib. Hey, Jay, Cutie Honey, you convinced me. It's not hard. It's not hard, Big Rib. It's actually quite a great teacher, Onizuka. Yes. There was an episode that really got me in the manga and, of course, on the anime. Um, when he saves that kid from jumping off the roof, I actually had to stop watching for a while. That got me. That that got me. I really felt he was being bullied, and that episode got to me, man. I actually could not watch for a little while after that. That was crazy. That was an absolute crazy, but it was a great series, 100%. And of course, he cries over the simplest things. I love it. Uh, Nim is a classic. Yes, The Secret of Nim, 100%. I mean, I talk about how fluid animations and things like that in Japanese anime is very good, but you know what? In terms of like animation that can really just capture you, Don Bluth animation is definitely one of those. If you are ever into video games and you played Dragons, what's it called? Time Warp, or yeah, what's it called? Um, Dragon Quest. What was it called again? Somebody help me here. I'm drawing a blank. How am I drawing a blank right now? Um, God, Dirk Daring. Somebody help me. Daphne, come on. I know everybody here is already yelling the hell out of me. Um, Dragon's Quest? It can't be Dragon's Quest. Dragon's Lair. Thank you, Jonathan. I can always count on Jonathan. Yes, Nerve of the Suit. John. Yes, yes. See, I can always rely on you guys. Draconin, Dawn's Bluth, Dragon's Lair, and Space Ace. Correct. See, all of the look at these guys. Look at these guys. Look at them. They know what they're talking about. When that's guys, don't grow up. Okay, don't get old. Don't get old. Please don't. Yes, Grego. 1980s Laserdisc arcade classic. Yes. Guys, don't get old. This is what happens when you get old. You start forgetting things. It's crazy. Tridemian Hanger, Mike, what's going on? I cannot speak about my other I cannot know. Oh no. Uh Mike cannot speak about his other hobbies. That's unfortunate. I would like to find out what Mike's other hobbies are. I'm very curious, Mike. I'm very curious. Jabbar Robbins, do you like Super Sentai? This marks the 50th anniversary of the franchise. Absolutely. We had 30 years of Red not too long ago. So it would not surprise me that this is the 50th year of the franchise. Happy 50th anniversary to Super Sentai. Nerve of the Suit. Hot take here. Land Before Time, Jurassic Park. Yes, that is actually a really good point. It probably there was definitely some inspiration from Jurassic Park to Land Before Time. Don Bluth did a lot, just amazing animations. All Dogs Go to Heaven. You know, Rockadoodle. You know what I mean? Lot of great anime. Yeah, I was shocked when I found that for $2 Canadian and all that. I still have my Record of the Lotus War VHS. Never got around. What? What are you talking about, dude? You gotta watch that, man. You gotta watch that. Do I own a VHS player? I own several. I own several VHS players. I own several DVD players that still work. I actually have a repair video on how to repair my Pioneer Laserdisc player on the channel. Actually, I have not taken that down. I'm surprised, actually. Dark Omen is a great series too. Dark Omen. I'm trying to remember. What is that? That sounds so familiar. Dark Omen. I have to think about that. Thank you, Jonathan. I still have my Visa, of course. Dude, they don't break down. They do break down. That's not true. Dark Conan. Dark Conan. I think, is that what we're talking about? I know prices are going up, but I'll keep collecting. Not gonna let it steal my joy. Absolutely. Nerd of the Suit. I don't judge strange hobbies really. I'm big on researching Titanic, which I am into, which I'm sure to some people can get intense. I've seen the entire record of the telegraph communications in the night it sank. Wow, that's crazy. Frank Rivera, strange hobbies. You check out my lint connection. I know what you're talking about, dude. That's disgusting. Alejandro Valdez, what's going on, brother? Played D&D as a kid. Awesome. Practice martial arts in Japan, working in production in LA now. Dude, that is awesome. Keep playing D&D, man. Keep playing D&D. Don't just stop as a kid. Yeah, Jonathan, absolutely. Ian Valdez, what's going on, my friend? Buenas noches, saludo desde Mexico. Oh man, good to see you, brother. Thank you for watching. Muchas gracias, mi amigo. So great to see you, brother. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I really do appreciate it. Muchas gracias, mi amigo. Really great to see you. Nerd with a suit. Oh man, Pokemon was so much of my life. Me and my friends, both old and recent, still loved it so much. My favorite is Rhydon. Nice. I have no idea who that is. I think it's a Pokemon, right? Draconin. Jay, you ought to consider a moderately priced preloaded handheld emulator packed with tons of systems and games for cheap. I have several emulators. I have a Game Boy emulator, classic Game Boy. It's actually black and white. I have several emulators, and of course, I have ROMs on my computer. I mean, everybody does, right? Not that anyone should believe what I said because you can't prove it. But yeah, no, for sure, absolutely. Timescales, just keep the same intro. Maybe redo the music with some bass, some bass. I don't know. I kind of like it. I might do something else though. We'll see what happens. Nerd Soup. I think Transformers Armada still counts as anime too, even if it was a collaboration between Western companies. Despite its numerous rough edges, it still is my top 3 Transformers show. Beast Wars, is actually still, very much considered part of the canon. The Japanese have adopted it, and they still make toys out of it today. Yes, Robotech versus Macross. I got you. The SDF one, absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna start moving. Hajime no Ippo. Yes, great anime. Absolutely. Sir Gilric Cage Esquire. I think I got that right. Sir Gilric Cage Esquire. Greetings. I love the way you say Chokugin, Mega J. I try. Chokugin. Actually, that says Chokojin. Did I say Chokojin? I thought I said Chokogin. Anyway, whatever. Good to see you, Sir Gilric. Draconin. We had most of these anime, if not more, in Hawaii years before it went mainstream. Awesome. And you're right. Some of the great anime, which is already in English, definitely came from Hawaii. Ian Valdez. Brother, you know what? I actually don't speak Japanese. Sorry, I'm Spanish, but I'll do my best. ¿Sabes cuándo será la fecha de Gem and the Holograms? I'm gonna pretend like I know what they say. I love Gem and the Holograms, and I don't know. I watched it as a kid with mostly with my girlfriend, and that was reruns. No, sorry, I lie. I didn't watch it as a kid. I watched Bigfoot as a kid. I would occasionally watch an episode of Gem just because I was bored, but I really started getting into it with my girlfriend when we were in college. She loved Gem. She had all the audio cassettes. She had many of the dolls, and I got hooked for a while. I got into Pizzazz. I got into the Misfits. I got into the stupid drama with Rico. A lot of crazy things that happened in that series. I don't know how they kept the drama up. It was just like a soap opera every single episode. It was weird. But yeah, no, I did really enjoy Gem of the Holograms. And I don't know. I don't know if they're going to make a new series, or if the dolls are just going to be the only thing that comes back. I really don't know. I hope they do the entire line. I really do. I hope they do all the Misfits. I hope they do all the holograms. I hope they do everything. I hope they do. I hope they bring synergy. I hope they actually make the synergies playset. I think that would be great. Kenzo's Creations. What up, Jay? Guys, if you haven't already, check out Kenzo's Creations on YouTube. Great creator. He's the only one with an Adora action figure. It's great. You've logged on some freaky hours on YouTube this week. God, dude, you have no idea. You have no idea. But, creeping up on my 9th anniversary, apparently, for the channel, it's showing that I'm doing a lot of hours. And somebody reminded me the other day, I'm very close to 20,000. I'm surprised. I didn't even think about it. I think it was Grego. Grego was actually on my stream, watching my stream the other day. He's like, let's get Mega J to 20,000. I'm like, wait, what? 20,000? What are you talking about? I did a double take actually at one point. So yeah, again, huge shout out to Grego. Thank you for the 5 memberships, Grego. Awesome. And guys, please check out the timescales. Great channel, and of course, check out Kenzo's Creations, please. So yeah, I don't know. It's the toy news did not stop this week. It was absolutely crazy. Draconin, yes, it is a bit. It's not dark. It's just sad. It's just very, very sombering. It's a somber anime. It's definitely not one that you're. It's not a feel good anime. It's definitely not a feel good anime. I'll say it right off the bat. Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations to Draconin for receiving one of those 5 memberships. Mega J, you ought to consider a moderately priced preload handheld. Yes, I did consider that. Silence will fall when the question is asked. It's all good. Aaron Paulson, what's going on, brother? Ninja Scroll and Berserk. Berserk is actually one of the a really amazing anime. I know it's really picked up steam with the manga as of late, but the anime, it was amazing to actually put that on television, man. Like some of the stuff that was in there was just crazy, just nuts. Nerd of the Suit. Also, I think people finally decided Avatar isn't anime, even though it was up in the air. But if we as a world did decide it was then the anime world would be my favorite story ever told. I think I still consider it an anime of sorts. It was animated in Korea and China and other parts. It was made by Nickelodeon, but I think it still had the spirit of anime. I think it was very much an anime in spirit, and I enjoy that. There are even some episodes that were chibi episodes. So I think it really was inspired, and I think many of the Koniseko and the dynamic duo there. I think that they actually very much had anime in mind when they were doing that. Yes, it was Dragon's Blair. Thank you guys, really appreciate that. Let's see here. I do like Super Sentai Jabbar. Yes, I do. I do like Super Sentai. I didn't watch it all, but I do like it. Let's see here. Mike, with saving money, then video games, now even the toy lines exist in the first hobby. So gone. Oh, we all went through phases in our life. Even Mike, apparently. But yeah, absolutely. It's pretty crazy. What a Fire and Ice. Oh, but you're talking about that's not Don Bluth. That is that's Ralph Bakshi. Another wonderful creator of the 70s and 80s. He did Fritz the Cat. He did Wizards, which is another great freaking like cult classic film. He did the first Lord of the Rings film, which Peter Jackson did actually reference that film multiple times in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And of course, he did Fire and Ice, another wonderful classic, amazing. I remember watching that over and over again. I was just a horny kid, man. But yeah, absolutely. Timescale, darn it, Jay! You have now inspired me. I have to find my Dragon's Lair VHS complete the gameplay through. There you go, Grego. Good to be living rent free in your head, brother. Draconin, I don't go to that scary place called Outside. I consider myself a domestic athlete. There you go. Draconin is in there, man. He's in there. He's running the marathon in his head. Oh wow, that horrible laser tag imitation show. Wow, I like. You know what? Photon. You know what? I liked Photon, and I also liked laser tag. I thought laser tag was the better of the two. I thought it was a really good series. But the game is really what got it for me. I love the laser tag game. I thought it was really fun. It never really worked well for any of us, but it was really fun. And you could cheat. You could cover up. It was such a fun thing. It was crazy. Kudos for trying to reach man. I know, right? I'm terrible, but I try. Let's see here. Nerd Suit. I began Gem and the Holograms about 3 days ago. I had no idea how great some of the music is for this. It's amazing. They had some really good, like the little music, the music video, little moments. They were awesome. They really were great. Photon came right after Voltron finished in my area. That's what it was. Josie and the Pussycats. That's right. Another great anime, which probably did inspire Gem and the Holograms. The more toys, the better, baby. That's right. Absolutely. Jay's hours work great for Hawaii time zone. It's been a little bit on and off these days, but yeah, for sure. Oh, there we go. Green Lantern Rick Cage Esquire. Okay, sorry, brother. I should have realized that from the lantern there. My apologies. Let's see here. 25th anniversary of Sliders TV series in April. Wow, that was a good show. I didn't watch all of it though. Alejandro Valdez. Ian Valdez. I was asking if anybody knows for the release date of the new Gem dolls. Okay. That's what he was asking. See, I was trying. And my apologies. Toy Habit says February 2023. Thank you, Alejandro, for answering that. That's great. I really appreciate that. Erwin Papa's in the house. What's going on, brother? How you doing tonight? Good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Nerd Suit. Oh yeah, chibi episodes of Avatar. They're cute, and I got them from Blu-ray release. I think one joke was used a lot by people who shipped Zuko with Katara. I mean, it was an interesting little moment, right? So very cool. I liked them. They were cute. I thought they were really good little asides. Um, yes, I people are saying that Gem is actually showing up at Walmart, which is neat. Nerd with a Suit. Wizards will always be my favorite Bakshi film, and his take on the Lord of the Rings is overrated. Is overrated or overheated? I'm thinking it's overrated, but I think with time everything changes, right? But the Balrog scene is still one of my favorites. It's an absolute riot. I laugh every time I see that Balrog show up. The way he acts, the way he moves is just hilarious. I really enjoy that scene. Challenge of the Super Friends. Yes. Great stuff. I will always hold the place in my mouth. Thundar, the Barbarian. Yes, of course. The Wonder Twins and their monkey Gleek. Sir Green Lantern Rick. Cage, Esquire. I think I got that right this time. As a kid, it was G-Force. Later, I found a Japan called Gatchaman and the precursor to Power Rangers. No, I mean, kinda, not really, but I know what you're saying. Sentai in general, but yes, definitely an inspiration for it. Draconin, I want Thunder the Barbarian, but they're $300 a figure now. I know it's crazy, right? Somebody should actually pick that license back up. MKF30 Jay, someone must have sent you my buddy Chucky. No, please don't. Please don't. How would I react if I saw that in the mail? Dude, I would probably freak out first. I would probably leave it in the box for a while and probably, end up putting it somewhere in the house where I know I can keep an eye on it. Because that thing would freak the hell out of me. My buddy. Another suit. I love the Orc War March to Helm's Deep in the Bakshi film. It still holds up. Yes, it was actually a really good. Again, I think the Bakshi films are actually quite. They have a lot of merit for sure. Just kidding, of course. What are your thoughts about those people who say the action figures are just dolls? Who the hell says that? If that's the case, you know what? That's fine. Absolutely. I mean, the term action figure was created because those were dolls, which were marketed to boys. So you know what? Sure, they're dolls. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Potato. Like at the end of the day, I collect them. You don't. Go fuck yourself. I'm just kidding. But yeah, for sure. Like it's my choice to collect dolls. I don't care. If you think that's weird, I'm not weird. You're weird. Brooklyn. Anyone here remember Battle Fever J? Was a collab with Marvel and the first to feature a giant robot for them. I think so. I think I know what you're talking about. But is that true? I thought that there was another Marvel comic which featured Transformers. No, yeah, I think there was no, but there was another Marvel comic. I think it was in the early 80s that had giant robots around the time of Voltron, I think. Are we thinking about the same thing? Was it Battle Fever J? Let me know. Let me know, Dark Conan. Alejandro. I love the live action Captain Power TV. Oh, dude, love it. Such a great show. Mattel still owns the IP. I would love to see that toy line in Motu Origin Scale crossover. I am so hoping that they can incorporate the gimmick again. I loved the whole idea of shooting the TV. I thought that was a great idea. I'm pretty sure today they would use an app or some other BS like that. But I think there's just a wonderful, magical simplicity about shooting a laser light onto the TV. I thought that was so great. Steve Vendetta. We all know Rita Repulsa is really Yoko Ono. Oh my God. Sorry guys. I'll take that under advisement there, Steve. Draconin. Starcom. Oh, Starcom. Yes. Absolutely. I love the little magnetic feet. So good. Nerve the Suit. I've been gender fluid all my life. Action figure, doll, ha! Those boundaries mean nothing to me. If I like it, I like it. Exactly. Well said, nerd with the suit. Well said. Absolutely. I totally am on board. Draconin. Until Battlefield J, Super Sentai teams had to combine vehicles, but not a full giant on robot. Wow. I can't really recall that too much, but I will definitely have to look it up. After Battle Fever, everyone got themselves a big ass robot to stomp their enemies. Absolutely. And then, of course, we did get the Shogun Warriors. We got so many other wonderful things along the go. So yeah, you know what? Going back to hobbies, and guys, tell me what your hobbies are. I would love to find out and know what your other hobbies are. And and I'm interested in if you and if you're gonna say collecting toenails and make funny little jokes like that, that's fine too. But really seriously, tell me some of your hobbies. I'd be very interested in learning more about that. Um, Another part of my life, even today, it's been a while, but even today, was in comic books. I loved collecting comics as a kid. I talk a lot about how my very first experience with Marvel Comics was Firelord versus Spider-Man. I remember reading that book, and it really hit me. It really hit me as a kid. The storytelling was so well done. The movie, the sorry, the I said movies. The illustrations were just so well, drawn and paneled. The flow of the book was amazing, and the whole story of fighting through adversity and leveling up. I think today we would call it leveling up for Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Because one of the heralds of Galactus, the Fire Lord, who you're not supposed to be able to beat as a regular friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That was just not in the cards, right? But somehow Peter Parker pulled up his big boy pants and just mother effing did it, man. It was a great storyline. It was a great episode for Spider-Man, and it really did lean into the idea that there's more to this version of Spider-Man than meets the eye. And I remember picking it up as a kid and thinking to myself, is this a new superhero? Right? Because I knew, like, from popular culture, from television, you know who Spider-Man is. Everybody knows who Spider-Man is. He always wears red and green. That's red and green suit. He climbs up walls. He has super strength. He can, swing on vines. Right? Again, another wonderful Ralph Bakshi cartoon from the 1960s. Right? The Amazing Spider-Man, along with Rocket Robin Hood. Um, so I knew who Spider-Man was. But then I started reading this, and in my head I always called him Cobweb. I don't know. That was just me as a kid. I always just sort of made up names for these guys. So I remember when I first saw him, I didn't even know who he was. I was like, "Oh, is that a new superhero? That must be Cobweb, right?" Because Spider-Man, Cobweb, right? So I would just continuously think in my head that this guy's name is Cobweb, and then I started reading the actual book. I can't remember the issue yet, but it was him versus Firelord. And I remember what it really did for me as a kid with comic books. And I really thought at that time, I was like, comics are freaking amazing, man. Comics are the shit. Like it was such a great experience for me reading this book, looking at that thing, and it introduced me to a whole bunch of superheroes I had no idea. I was introduced to Spider-Man in his black suit, my very first introduction to a superhero. It introduced me to Firelord, and then it introduced us to the actual Avengers. At the end of the book, spoilers ahead, I already did it, but the Avengers actually show up at the end when Spider-Man's already won, right? And it was crazy because at the time, um, you guys probably don't remember this. Many of you remember this though. Um, I had to go to my local convenience store. I went to the convenience store after church. I went to the convenience store after church, and the spinning racks. I don't know if you guys remember that, but on the spinner, right? I saw this book. Right, there were a whole bunch of them. There was like Casper the Friendly Ghost, Huey Duck. A lot of the Huey comics were on the stand around the time. The Archie comics were on the stand around the time. But the one that stuck out to me was that Spider-Man issue. Um, I thought it was great because it had this image of Firelord shooting a bolt of fire at Spider-Man. Spider-Man's doing a somersault backwards, and it was so dynamic. It was so dynamic. It really brought me back. I had to have it, so I begged my parents. It was like $2 or something like that. It was like yeah, $1.50. It was like $1.50 or something like that. I literally had to beg my dad to buy it because he did not want to buy it for me. It was such a crazy time. Thinking back at it now, it's like dad, please, please, please. And he's like, did you already read it? You were here in the store for like an hour. And I was like, that's it. I was begging him. I read that thing back. I read that thing cover to cover multiple times, and it was only issue one. It was a 2-issue episode. And I remember thinking to myself, what's going to happen? Because it left at a cliffhanger. And I remember at the time, I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And the next issue was next month. And I think there was a delay. I think there was a delay of about a week or so. But that month felt like a freaking eternity, man. That month, I swear to God, it felt like half a year. It felt like 6 months had gone by. And every single time we would go after church, I would visit the store every single month just to. I would ask the store owner, "Did you get this issue? Did you get this issue?" And that guy was pretty much freaking tired of me asking this little kid, bugging him every day, asking him every single day, "Did you get the new episode of Spider-Man? Did you get the new episode of Spider-Man?" Did you get, I think at the point where I finally walked in the final day when it came out, I walked up to the guy and he didn't even wait for me to ask him. He just said, "Here, kid, take it." Like he literally threw it in front of me, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was losing my mind. I was like going crazy, and he still made me pay for it though. That's okay, which is fine. But yeah, dude, I read that from cover to cover, and I remember it being such a crazy experience because unlike other things in my life, and other comic book stories at the time, there was no disappointment in this. This was the age when comics were just so fulfilling. You know what I mean? This actually had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it was just this great experience that I had seeing Peter Parker's growth in this comic really did hit me, and that's why like I could tell you more or less scene per scene. One of my favorite scenes in the book was when Firelord actually walks into he gets hungry. I didn't know that. Like that always seemed weird to me. Firelord actually gets hungry after destroying half the city for no reason. Obviously, he's a herald of Galactus. So he gets hungry. He flies down to the middle of Manhattan, walks into a pizzeria. I remember this so vividly, right? I haven't read the book in like ages, but I remember it so vividly. He walks into a pizzeria, walks up to the proprietor and says, are you the owner of this establishment? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, and Firelord's like, I hunger, right? And he's like, prepare me a suitable meal, right? And of course the pizzeria guy, he's like, brother, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. The oven's not even ready. And then Firelord points his hand to the ovens, blasts the ovens with one of his fire blasts, and he says, "Are they ready now?" And I was like, "Holy crap!" And I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. And then the next panel, it was hilarious because you see Firelord just chomping down on a piece of pizza, and he's like, he said, "This is exquisite." He's like, "Exquisite. You truly are a master of your craft." And I was like, "Oh my God. This is like the greatest thing ever." I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. They're even eating in this comic book. I was like, okay, I'm into comic books. I decided around that time I was into comic books. And that went on for like many years. Then I discovered manga. There were so many things about it. And then eventually I actually was so in love with comics that me and a couple of friends actually ended up creating our own books. So this was quite the experience, and I want to talk a little bit about that before we move on, because I ended up getting involved in 2 different sets of books, and recently I actually went back into I got back into it and was able to help with another book. So I want to talk a little bit about that experience because that's going to be a lot of fun, and I actually have coming up. I might actually end up going back into this journey about comic books. But before we go, let's take a few comments. But I do have to stress that my love of comics literally came from that one mini series. It was only 2 issues. It was only 2 issues, but it felt like a freaking eternity, man. Like as a kid, time moves really slow. Now, I swear to God, I go to bed on Monday and it's already Friday. Like like that's how fast the week goes these days. That is just really crazy. It really is absolutely bonkers. Steve Vendetta, but are they really action figures? They're actually posable figurines. The Robocent toys, Optimus Prime, for example, are true action figures. Um, sure. I mean, when you think about it, right? Action figure is just a marketing term. They're all dolls. If you want to go back to like terminology, they're all freaking dolls. So say what you will, man. All I care about is that they make me happy. That's all I care about. MKF30, good answer. Used to get teased by friends back in the day about my action figures being dolls, but he collected Funko Pops. He's wrong. Exactly, MKF30. Sir Green Lantern Rick Cage Esquire, Robo Killer said about the doll world complaint from the soft good haters. Yeah, it's a doll, and you bought a shitload of them, and I love that. The man himself, the doll, the one of the greatest doll makers ever. Sculpt Fiber Tommy, hobbies. Never, uh, Neanderthals, hobbies, Neanderthals, karate, and model kits. I know, right? Oh, Tommy, you creative genius, you guys. If you haven't already, definitely follow the Sculpt Fiber Tommy. He just did some crazy, I guess, fun sculpts for Marvel. I was blown away. You show him, Tommy. You show him, man. You show him. Yo, Joe C. Yo, hobbies. Yeah, absolutely. Good to see you, brother. Darkonin. Sleeping, flatulence, toilet humor, comics, 80s music, family restaurants to keep hanging out on. Yes. Great hobbies. All of them. All of them, Hurry. Your hobby is doing nothing. That is a lie. That's a lie. Watching TV is a hobby. Under the suit, I love to research the history of RMS Titanic. Yes, the life of John Brown. I went to Harper's Ferry on the first time in 2023, and it was an experience I will never forget. I knew how the raid went. Wow, that's crazy. RC Blue, is that a hobby? Is that a hobby? Darkonin, I'm good. I'm good at sitting in one place and breathing hard. Well, you know what? We're all good at something. Um, Let's see. Did you know that all that birds are dinosaurs? They never stopped being dinosaurs. It's more accurate to say non-avian dinosaurs died out during the mass extinction. I still, you know what? I'm gonna be that guy. I still think that terrible lizard is exactly what it means. They are terrible lizards. That's just me. I was as a kid, I was raised to believe that they were lizards, and I cannot separate myself from that. I know that's probably the unpopular opinion right now, but that is what I stand by. I believe that they're still terrible lizards, um, and that's actually what I believe. I believe that dinosaurs are terrible lizards. Um, Draconin. When I was growing up, comics were such a great escape for me. I didn't care that none of the heroes looked like me. It still it doesn't. You know what? I'm just gonna seriously. I was like kids were the target audiences, and it doesn't matter. You can always see anything. Your heroes are who you make of them. Okay, it doesn't matter what color skin they have. It doesn't matter that they're women, that they're men, that they're they. It doesn't matter. If you look up to somebody and they are your hero, that's because they're your hero. That's what I believe. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with aspiring to be like a person who doesn't look like you. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that because you can be a better version of your hero. That is something I think everyone should take to heart. You need to be the hero that you want to be. That's what's more important. Thank you for that, Darkonin. Silver Tommy, yes, dinosaurs are real life dragons and monsters. Exactly. I agree. I totally 100% agree. There's a missing link in there somewhere, but they had wings at one point. On Tyrannosaurus Rex. Darkonin. I just wanted the comics to keep the best artists and writers on the books as long as possible. I hate it when they take it off the books without finishing the story arc. I know it does happen, but you know what? There are timelines to be done. That is a problem. Tommy. Yep, I have tons of dinosaur books. Ankylosaurus is my favorite. I don't know if I even pronounced that right. Mace Tail. Yes, I love those things. They were like little battery little tanks with like mace tails. It was so great. Um, Bird claws still have dino feet, scales, and all. Yep, I get you, but I stand by what I said. I'm not taking it back. Sir Green Lantern Rick Cage. I remember the comic racks at 7-Eleven before they were comic shops. Cartoons and comics are the siege, are the sage, are the sea, are the siege drug into my mighty massive superhero doll collection. Handbook of the Marvel Universe inspired. Absolutely. Stephen Detta, what did the Dalai Lama say when he asked for toppings he wanted on his pizza? Make me one with everything. A good one. I like that. That's actually really good, Steve. Um, Shao Kahn is in the house. What's going on, brother? How are you doing tonight? Rom the Space Knight, yes. Was a B-list character, if not a C-list character, but I enjoyed the comic series. Looking forward to the action figure. Absolutely. When he teamed up with Iron Fist and Luke Cage, that was a great time. And he met up with the freaking Fantastic Four, who got him back into space. What a storyline, man. What an absolute amazing storyline. I love the way they're sneaking around New York City just to get to the Fantastic Four, just to get to the Baxter Building. It was hilarious. MKF30. Comics are great, especially the older ones. Who's your favorite DC character? Superman, Batman, or perhaps neither? Someone else? Some people feel the Flash is way overpowered. I'm always going to default to either Superman or Batman. I mean, I grew up with those guys, right? I grew up with those guys. I always was more partial to Superman when I was growing up, but then obviously, now the popularity with Batman being a mortal among gods. I mean, there is that allure, right? That darkness in him. So yeah, it's always going to flop between those two. But honestly, I love Wonder Woman. I love all the original what's it called? Super Friends. I loved all those guys. The original Justice League. I love all those guys. So it's really hard for me to say if I have a singular favorite. So I'm just going to say that it's between Superman and Batman. Those two, they literally are like Zeus and Ares. You know what I mean? Sorry, I guess it would be Zeus and Poseidon, right? Because Ares is the son of Zeus. Yeah, I'll go with that. Let's see here. Andrew Davis. Jay, you grew up in the Philippines and then moved to Canada, right? I did not. That's an interesting question. So I was born in the Philippines. I lived there for a number of years. But, and here's a fun fact. I went to a Montessori school where they spoke only English. So for the better part of my life, I didn't speak too much Tagalog. I actually speak more Tagalog now than I did back when I was a kid. I actually learned Tagalog because I wanted to learn more about my heritage as an adult. So I forced myself to speak to my mom whenever I went home in Tagalog, and I still do that today. And I really appreciate that as an adult. I can't read in Tagalog. I just can't. I can't write in Tagalog either, but I can speak. I can have conversations. I can converse. So my early childhood was weird because we lived a couple of years in the Philippines when I was born. Then we moved to Canada for a couple of years, and then we moved. And then my brother was born. Dexter was born here in Canada, and then we moved back to the Philippines for a time because my mom got homesick. Lived there for another couple of years, and then we moved back to Canada for pretty much that's it. So that's actually how that whole situation works. If you guys want to know a little bit more about my history, so there you go. And I don't know how you figured that out, Andrew, but good on you, brother. Did I tell you? Is that what happened? I don't know. Maybe I told you, Andrew. James Morrison. Let's get Grego tonight. He has true passion. He does indeed, absolutely. And Grego's in the chat right now. But I have a lot of things to cover. So Grego and I are actually going to go. Grego and I are going to do a live stream soon. Yeah, Grego and I are going to do a live. Jeez Louise. Grego and I are going to do a live stream soon. So Grego and I will be seeing a lot of each other, and you guys should definitely check out the timescales, 100%. So, but yeah, I got a whole bunch of things to cover tonight. So I got to I gotta kind of stay on track. We got a mission to get. We got a mission to go through, guys. We got a mission to go through. Skull Fighter Tommy. Plus, all the new evidence of feathered dinosaurs and raptors. Amazing time. You can show me whatever evidence you want. I think I'm not a flat earther. I'm not one of those guys. But I still, because again, I was raised with knowing that and dinosaur still means terrible lizard, even to this day. They need to, if they're gonna freaking if they're going to if they're gonna keep if they're gonna keep using that terminology, right? Then they have to consider whether or not they still need to be called dinosaurs. I think that's fair. Okay, I think that's actually fair. We call them terrible birds or something along those lines. Because right now, if you say dinosaur, you are literally saying monstrous lizard, terrible lizard. Okay, so I stand by that. All right, that's just me. Again, I'm just being an old fogey. It's like trying to like piss and vinegar, all that crap. Right, that is me. Okay, so that. That's my old privilege. I'm just kidding. How's it, brother? How's it, brother Nolan? Good to see you guys. Everyone, Papa is still in the house. Good to see you guys. Sculpt over Tommy. I've seen the remade accurate Jurassic Park. Way fun. Honestly, I know it's a lot of fun. I've seen what you're talking about. I still like the scary dinosaurs. Come on. I want to see a Tyrannosaurus Rex with really big chompers, man. I really do. Let's see here. Nerd with suit. People think Mattel marketing She-Ra as more of a feminine dolls instead of embracing the idea that girls actually did like action figures, epic stories like He-Man, and wanted to embrace the butch. I realized today I was seeing autism in a lot of my favorite heroes. I wanted to be like, that's fine. That's so good. Why not? It's great. Let's see here. Andrew Davis. Wrestling as a hobby turned into a true life passion. I checked out the new movie Queen of the Ring about Mildred Burke. Is freaking awesome. I saw the commercials. Is it a really good film? Because it looks interesting. It looks It looks fascinating. Josie, unfortunately, as a kid, I hated reading, but became a good artist. That's awesome, dude. I always wanted to be a comic book artist, but I ended up writing a couple of comics myself, and I had a lot of fun making these with my good friend Marvin Mariano, and I've always wanted the chance to remake these, and I might actually end up doing that. Then I want to talk a little bit about the other comics that I was involved with. Let's see here. Steve, Jay, if you just start seeing eggs pelting the windows over there at Titan Toys, don't worry, it's just me. I'll come out to meet you, Steve. I don't care if you're 6'2". I will definitely take you on. No problem. We'll have an egg fight right in the middle of the parking lot. Sculpt Viper Tommy. Ooh, similar. I went to an American school based on base in Japan growing up. That's awesome, dude. My dream is to go to Japan still. I still want to go to Japan so badly, just at least for a small visit. I just want to go once. Grego, adopt me, okay? We'll go together. Steve, so in other words, Canada's West Coast has acted as a revolving door for you and your family back in the 70s. I don't understand about where the West Coast comes from. I mean, we're more in the we were always in Toronto. I never actually went to I've never been to Vancouver. I've never been to PEI. I've never been to any of those places, unfortunately. I've always been here in Ontario. So it's more like central, right? Or eastern, if you will. So anyway. RC, rejected programming, Jay. They're terrible lizards, okay? I have spoken. Jay has spoken. Doom has spoken. MKF30. Jay, do you like horror movies? And what's the popular overall Transformers TMT or Motu? I don't particularly like horror movies, but I did like it. I thought it was awesome, which is not really a horror movie. It's more like a thriller. What's more popular overall, Transformers TMT or Motu? Honestly, Motu is the least of those three. I'm not gonna fool myself into thinking that Motu is up high. It's not. TMT is the most popular, in my opinion. But globally, here's the key. I think TMT is probably the most popular, but globally, I think Transformers overall globally has the biggest reach. I think that that's actually how that breaks down. Darkonin. My cousins would come over and play with our Joes and Transformers because they said their Barbies are missing and their hair color. They lied. Rick Cage. Batman and Green Lantern are my DC guys, you think? Because they are mortal. Batman because he's from a pulp era mystery men like the Shadow, who my mom introduced me to. She was born in 1933. The Shadow was a great character. The same thing with you know what's it called, the Phantom, the Shadow. All those great superheroes from the past. So much fun. Skullfiber Tommy. If you think about it, superheroes and supervillains, their powers and traits spawn from their hobbies. That's awesome. That is a great insight. Thank you, Tommy. That's awesome. Good one for sure. Nolan, hey, what's going on, Nolan? Didn't realize you've never been to the West Coast, Jay. I've never been to the East Coast provinces. Always wanted to go one of these days. Yeah, I've always I want to go. I want to visit Ken. In BC, I definitely want to visit Ken. But it's the truth. I've never actually been to the West Coast. I've never been to the East Coast. I've never been either. I want some really good, seafood from Nova Scotia. You know what I mean? I would love to try some. Or Prince Edward Island. I would love that. Yeah, but to get to the Philippines, didn't you have to fly across Canada over the Pacific, hence crossing over the West? I think it depends. Um, does it like? I think you're right because we had a stopover in Japan, which I that was my only time visiting Japan. I was in an airport, and at the time I was so young I didn't care. I was just really tired after a 24 after a 19-hour flight. So I was so restless I didn't care if I was in Japan or not. Um, and then it was just another 4 hours to the Philippines or something like that. So yeah, maybe you're right. I don't I haven't really thought about it. Yeah, I haven't really thought about it. And over the suit. I would say Transformers personally, you can go just about anywhere on Earth and show them a picture of Optimus Prime, and they'll probably be able to figure out at the very least his first or last name. I hear you, and that's exactly what I said. I think internationally, Transformers is probably the most well known in the world. Darkonin. I think it's oddly amazing that Peter Cullen is also responsible for the Predator's voice. That's neat, but as Pixel Dan once said, he's also the voice of Pac-Man's cat. That's hilarious. MFK30. Nice. So I have to welcome you as a fan of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. And who are your favorite characters, respectively, from each franchise? And do you think we'll ever get a crossover? Um, my favorite character in Mortal Kombat is probably going to be Sub-Zero or Scorpion. I've always loved those two. I think they're two of my favorite favorite characters in that line. Um, my favorite character in Street Fighter has always been Ken. But I really do have a very huge affinity for Chun Li. She's always been the strongest female in the world, and I've always heralded her in the game itself. Rick Cage, Nerve the Suit, awesome, absolutely, and Nerve the Suit. Draconin, my first exposure to Cullen's voice was actually him voicing promos for Transformers Armada on Toonami, a show he didn't even voice, which is cool. Actually, that's amazing. And Darkonin, hey man, you do what you do to come. It's true. It's true. It is absolutely true. Yes, she's got them thighs. Absolutely. Um, what's it called? Articulated Ninja says thickies. He calls them thickies. Yes, Darkonin. He did do the voice of Voltron, and he actually was a voice of one of the captain in the vehicle Voltron. So there's that too. Um, so yeah, guys, at one point, because my love of comics finally ended up with me making my own with my good friend Marvin Mariano. These are no longer in print. I do have a couple of copies of these. I might actually bring them to Toylanta for people to look at. I think they're a lot of fun to read. Um, this story actually was very much inspired by my love of anime. It's not a manga specifically, but you can see the anime influences. I mean, you see the big round eyes. But this was a lot of fun to make. I dabbled in writing this story about a boy who is trapped in another world, Earth. And yes, I know the irony of me complaining about Earth so much, and yet I have a dude on Earth from another planet Oh my god, you know what? I just realized that I literally wrote about the 1987 movie. Anyway, um, God, I am such an idiot. But yeah, it's about it's your typical manga story about a boy and a girl being friends and having a platonic relationship where one of them really likes the other but doesn't realize it. Again, I was influenced by a lot of anime, but then of course he has a darker destiny. He has a destiny, and his father, who is drawn into the same universe on Earth as him, right? They go and he needs to discover his destiny as the heir apparent and to a throne on another world, and he has companions like his loyal dog, but at the same time, his best friend Ada, she's got um, she's got her own destiny and actually a very darker past, and she's always drawn to the moon for some reason. And then of course we start finding out about some very dark individuals who are trying to kidnap Brecht, and for whatever reason, and we find out more about his companion and of course his father, um, and the overall destiny that they share and carry, and just how powerful his little dog companion really is. So it was a lot of fun to write this book. I tried to take a lot of inspirations from many of the series that I loved watching about as a kid, um, and of course there is mecha in it, just because I was so fascinated by mecha back in the day. Gundam, Record of Lotus Wars. Sorry, Escaflowne, um, uh, Aura Battler Dunbine. You know what I mean? So many great anime about about uh, about giant robots and heroes and knights, and it was just a really fun book. The Legend of Steel Breed. Um, I had a lot of fun writing this and making a comic book with friends. And I think that's actually a lot of the life lessons that I had to learn here. Um, when you're in a project with I'll just tell you a cautionary tale, guys. When you work with friends, you have to really work with other people's expectations. I think that's a very big part of being um, creators. Um, Everybody has their own lives, and it's not easy in a lot of ways. It's not easy to get people to meet deadlines, because again like, for the most part, it's a very voluntary situation when you're working with friends. um it would have been a lot easier just to get and hire an artist and a colorist. Yes, it would have been very, very easy. It also would have been very expensive. But at the same time, this was something that I created alongside a friend, right? And we jointly had this in mind, and I really enjoyed the process of actually writing a story and getting people involved. You know what I mean? And I really enjoyed working with my friends Marvin and Adrian and Huey and a lot of people who contributed to this book. Um, and I'm so glad after all these years that I still have, these books, and I'm able to reference them and really look back at them, and learn a lot from my mistakes, because I made a lot of mistakes. Both uh, this is a guy who can barely spell trying to write a book, right? I mean, that's a big that is a big problem in and of itself. I mean, I'm not going to lie about that. I also learned a lot about pacing. I learned a lot about how to recognize when a story is not capturing or moving fast enough. I think that is a real thing that I had to learn really quickly, because these first two books, when I was writing them, they moved quite slow. We never actually got we never actually were able to produce a third book, and it's unfortunate because we never actually got to the meat of the story. And again, that was mainly because I didn't know how to move. I had a lot of things I wanted to say, But I didn't realize that in a comic book format, you have to move quickly, right? You have to move very quickly in comics to really get people's attention and to keep people engaged. And I think YouTube, um, you know, creating content on YouTube really helped me to understand how that works, right? Because on YouTube, if you don't capture people's imagination in the first few minutes, you can lose them as an audience pretty quickly. So I learned a lot of that along the way, and I wish I knew I wish I knew then what I know now. Everyone says that. Everyone says to the certain degree. I wish I knew then what I knew now, because if I knew then how to properly pace a story, how to properly get people to appreciate or get all those key action scenes and storytelling, the way it's supposed to be done, right? The way successful illustrators and artists and storytellers do that, I think that we would have gotten through. I truly believe that we would have gotten through the entire 5 issue arc very quickly. Um, and you know what? We did learn that, actually, because after this, after with the experience that Marvin and I had with these 2 books, I ended up collaborating with another good friend of mine, Hugh Rookwood, and um, Corey Core, who ended up creating the Apocalypse 4. And I served as a the I made I did most of the production work on this, mostly in the background, a lot of the speech balloons and things like that, and of course the because I work in graphic design, I did most of the layouts and actually did the pagination and all that. So it was great. So from what we learned, from all the lessons that I learned in by doing the Legend of Steelbird really were essential in creating this book, Apocalypse 4. And I argue that this book is the more just mainly because of that. This work was the more polished of the 2 books, because we really did know, and going into this, we knew what we were doing now. It was less a guessing game, less trial by error, and more to the point of, now I know about paneling. Now we know about paneling. Now we know about storytelling. Now we know about pacing and all those things. Um, I learned a lot about um, how to be a letterer and really choose the different portions that would really bring a lot of emphasis to different areas in the book, right? The special effects, the sound effects, all that kind of stuff. And I also, and this was important, and this is actually what I wanted to talk about. I also realized that there are certain people who need to be hired to be brought onto a project. This project very much needed uh, high dynamic coloring, and it was also a question of timing. I don't think that like many of us had very little time to do everything, and Marvin had moved on to other projects, and we just had to decide. You know what? We need to figure out if there's another colorist team that can help us out, and we actually reached out to a team in Greece who ended up doing much of the coloring here. Nico Kustis and Mike Torres, who have gone on to do great things in the comic book world. But you can see here some of the early work that they did, and it was fabulous. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, it was really great stuff working with those guys. It was very much an international effort. We us all of us being here in Canada, them being in Greece. It was a great time and a great time to learn. This was way back in like 2012 that we ended up doing a lot of this work. But you can see the fruits of our labor. Hugh is an incredibly talented illustrator, and it shows. I mean, the guy's absolutely brilliant, right? He is absolutely brilliant. And the coloring done by Nico Kustis and Mike Torres, I mean, it's just top notch. And again, like I said, adding the the effects on the speech, and everything. We learned a lot in the doing Steel Breed. And again, it really did come across on these two books. So I'm so glad to have worked on these, and it bringing them back out to talk about this tonight has really brought me back, and I'm really interested in revisiting comics again. I think there's a lot of value in that. I really want to start once again telling really good stories, and that's actually it was pivotal in a lot of ways because second book came out, learned even more about storytelling and pacing and so many other things. This is a fight with Lucifer, right? So it was a great time, and we had a lot of fun putting this book together. But it came with struggles. I'm not gonna lie. There were a lot of things that happened along the way. Um, but that happens with friends. You know what I mean? Like you have to just accept the fact that um, we all have our lives, we all have our differences, and but we were able very much to put all of that aside to actually get this book done. And you know what? I'm proud of this book. I'm proud of the work that we all put into it and everything that came out of it. You know, we worked very, very hard on this book, and I think it does show. And it's a shame that it really didn't go any further than we could do for just two books. We didn't kickstart this. I think that's another thing that a lot of people don't understand. We did not kickstart this book. This book was completely funded by us. Like we spent a lot of money making these books, and back in the day, there were no real industries outside of a very few number of places that would produce comics, and please and print houses that would actually do this kind of work. So we took a big risk and spent thousands of dollars trying to get this into different stores. We approached Diamond distributors very early on, and back then it wasn't like today, where they had digital comics. That didn't exist, right? We actually had to do this all on our own. Diamond was asking for two, like I think it was like at the time it was like a thousand books. No, it was sorry, what am I talking about? No, it was like 5,000 books minimum, and there was a buyback policy, right? If your book didn't sell properly, they would demand a buyback from you, right? Because again, it's your responsibility as a creator to sell your books. You had to market them yourselves. We had to do all of the all of the legwork, which really is not that much different from today. You still have to do very much that same process, but today's easier because social media has changed the game completely. Social media is like the biggest thing right now. It is something where back then social media was just in its infancy. A lot of like there was Facebook around, there were so many different things that you could do, but now you can actually just look up a YouTube video to try and figure out, okay, what's the best way to actually market your comic book, right? And there's a lot of people doing tutorials on that. That didn't exist when we were making this when we were making these books. And it should, and it's too bad because I really do think we had a great product here. I think we had a great product. I think that a lot of people really appreciate good artwork and good storytelling. And I do think that this book was the accumulation of what we learned at the time. And you know, I would love so much to have another shot at this. And I've been thinking about this a lot because I think that there's something inside me, and I think there's something inside a lot of us where we want to create something, and just bring something to creatively. I think that that's something that we all want eventually, right? And I think that I'm getting that call. I'm getting that call, and this one's going to be risky, but I'm going to try it. I'm getting that call of the wild right now. You know what I mean? To basically have a chance at making something again, and I'm really really excited about that. Um, And I have a lot of, I'll announce more of what I'm thinking about a little later. But suffice it to say that right now I'm really thinking about the fact that there's a story I want to tell. There's a story that I want to do, and thanks to and I do have to shout out good friends of the channel, Delta 17 5x5 Toys, for letting me play in their yard, because I ended up doing much of uh, the production work on this for the sound effects and for the speech balloons and things like that. So I got my feet wet again with this book, and I really appreciate Steve for giving me that chance, because it really helped me to reconnect with with how the book should, how to do books again, right? How to actually go and once again produce comics. And it was a great experience, you know what I mean, like getting back into it and really doing all the speech balloons, all of the layouts, and having deadlines again. And this was a completely different experience than working with, again, a whole bunch of kids. We were just kids, when we made those two books. Now I'm working with Ken over at Toy Connections, are working with Steve, and we're making great stuff. You know what I mean? Amazing books. And if you guys haven't read this, it's available right now for purchase on Delta 17 toys.com. Um, and it's a lot of fun. Like, I had a lot of fun working on this book. I had a lot of fun helping to produce it and really getting this out on a timely deadline. We needed this out before Joe Fest, and it was a tight deadline, man. Like, it was really really tight. I think I had 3 weeks to get this all done. When the final pages finally came in colored, and what I ended up doing in a lot of ways is I asked for the pages in rough pencils, just so that I could lay them out quickly enough, and that I didn't, I wasn't wasting time. I think that was again, being in the design industry for so long, I realized where to take shortcuts, and how to save time, and it really did help, um, in order to produce this particular book, because when you're on such a tight deadline as it can be with trying to be at a convention and having these things in hand, ready to showcase at the show, it really was one of those things that was really, I was pressed for time in a lot of ways. And I really appreciate, again, all the support that I received from everybody who was involved. This one is out of all the books I showed tonight, this is the one that's actually available for sale. You can pick this up at 5x5 Toys right now. It's a great book. The story is amazing, and of course, huge shout out to Steve and Ken, who wrote the book, and as well as all the wonderful artists who worked on it. I'll just read them out right now, actually, for a second. But yeah, it was a great piece of storytelling, and I do suggest everybody take a look at it. So just so everybody, writer and creator, Steve Platt. Storyboard, pencils, and ink by Rafael Forte. Background by Michele, or is it Michelle? I think it's Michelle. I think it's Michelle uh, Trokin. Man, the font is terrible. I didn't put this part together. Trochina. Colors by Maja Opaki. Man, I am terrible at names. Um, Script, letters by me, and script by Kenpo, and cover by Steve Platt. So you can actually see all of those names and read them for yourself on the book, if you purchase it on 5x5 Toys. It's a great read, and I really do suggest that everybody take a look at it. I had a lot of fun working on that book. But yeah, out of all my hobbies, I think the comics was very fulfilling, in so much that I was able to fulfill a small dream by being able to make my own comics. I never actually got to finish any of the arcs, of any of these, whether it be Steel Breed or Apocalypse 4. Even Delta 17, we are trying to get book number 2 out, which is tough because The artists have their lives. We have our lives. The colorists have their lives. It's always a hard time when you're not really a comic book company, but you're trying to make a comic book. It's actually a really crazy thing. Just like toys. the Oh man, if I there's another hobby now which became fruition. Thinking about becoming a toy manufacturer and actually doing it with Hatter Toys. You know what I mean? That was crazy, and that's another rabbit hole which I think we'll get to in another at another time. But I want to thank you guys for sharing those moments with me. That's one of my proudest moments as a creator. I really appreciated the effort that all of us on the team made to get those books done, and I'm it was a slog. It was a lot of pain and suffering, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed working with my friends. There was a lot of arguments. There was a lot of difficulties, but it was a great time in my life, and I learned a lot. You know what I mean? As a graphic designer, I learned a lot. As a publisher, I learned a lot. As a content creator, I learned a lot, and I really do want to get back into that. Which I might just do that. We'll see. We'll see how that works. But it was a great time in my life, and I really want to keep going with that. And I really want to one day revisit that at some point. Edward Dos Santos, hey Michael J, are you looking forward to the new Master Universe movie? Edward, you should take a look at some of my videos on that. Yes, yes, I'm looking forward to it. Um, do I put much faith in it? No. I uh, I put much more faith in the Fall of Grayskull 2, which I think I will play later in the episode, because I think that everyone should be supporting that film, because the Master Universe movie is well on its way. It's going to get produced. It's going to get made. So I don't think that one needs any more uh, promotion or push from someone like me. I would rather put my energy into promoting and supporting the Fall of Grayskull 2. I think that with Daniel Benedict is going to be an incredible film once it's actually put out and made. I think it's going to be incredible. So Edward Dos Santos, the actual short answer is yes. I am excited, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I will believe it when I see it. And whenever you start off something on Earth, which I had to learn the hard way, is never a really good start. Um, Dark Conan, sorry. I really hope Mr. Cullen gets his Optimus Prime movie while he's still able to. He deserves it. I really want them to do a Bumblebee treatment the way it's supposed to be done. I think that that's really important. Um, that to me is important. I really liked, I really enjoyed, and funnily enough, um, the director of Bumblebee is actually directing the Master Universe movie. So I really am hoping that that actually becomes a real idea. Thank you, Tommy. That means a lot. Trust me, I really appreciate the fact that you really like that title, Steel Breed. Yes, it is. I thought it was a brilliant title. Marvin came up with that, and it would. And you know what? It really is the crux of the story. So yes, I really do really like that story. Nerve of the Suit. I'm parking myself. Cullen is old enough. Even though I didn't grow up with his voice, he's still prime to me in countless ways. Also hits home when Gary Chalk also made it through his surgery recently. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that he's pulling up, making progress. Sculpt over topping. Story reminds me a bit of Escaflowne. Yes, I did pull a lot from so many different sources around the time that I was making it, and Escaflowne was definitely one of them. So it definitely was a big influence on me. Titanium Hanger. Cullen did make Optimus such a generational character. Yes, I love his quote that his brother Larry, I think, really inspired him to be more like gentle but strong. And I love that. Tommy, amazing! Congrats. Making a comic is no small feat. This was back in 2012. Imagine today, right? I think in a lot of ways, I think it's actually easier today, Tommy. I think it's actually really easier today. Um, Darkonin. Magic Square's MP Optimus Prime is doing an iconic jump attack. That's my current wallpaper. That's awesome. That is awesome. Andrew Davis. Wait a minute, Jay. You wrote about a platonic relationship with a girl, but the guy really likes her. No, it's the other way around. It's a platonic relationship where the guy doesn't realize that the girl likes him. Um, That's the way that works. That sounds like every guy on the planet, especially us geeks. Yeah, well, there's a twist, right? It's actually the way around. Ada is actually very much attracted to Brecht, but Brecht is oblivious to the fact that Ada feels that way towards him. Sculpt over Tommy. Jay's origin story. I had no idea. Terrible, isn't it? Colorist, yes, the colorist from Greece. Yeah, both of them. So Mike Torres did the flats, and Mike and um, Kustis. Hold on, what was his name again? I'm drawing a blank for some stupid reason. I literally said it 10 minutes ago. This is what happens when you get old, guys. Don't get old. Stay young. Nikos, sorry, Nikos Kustis. Nikos Kustis. He did the special effects and the coloring. It was a great collaboration between those two. Um, there was yeah, I know may seem unfair, but in many ways, but the best tool of learning is to mess up and learn why for your next project. That's why I like positive enforcement in my art. Absolutely, 100%. Learn so much more. It's you learn from your mistakes. You don't learn from your triumphs. Steve, did Marvin's younger brother render all those graffiti effects in the background for you? No. Marvin did everything. I did the flats to save time in many ways for Steelbraid. Neither of us worked on colors on us. Okay, so I need visual aids here. So because again, it can take a long time to do these things. Pardon me. I did all the flats, the flat color work on Steel Breed, and Marvin did all the rest. He did all the special effects. He did all the shading, the coloring. He did all of that stuff, right? So I did the flats on here for colors, and Marvin did most of the coloring and illustrating. He did all that work. Um, and on this book, it was all Nikos Kustis and Mike Torres. They did all the coloring and the flats on Apocalypse 4. So that's how that works. Tommy, Delta 17 comic is also international too. I believe so. Yeah, I believe it is. I believe that the colorists, the illustrators, and are both from Europe, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or is it South America? I can't really. You'd have to ask Steve, but yes, I do believe that's the case. So it's fascinating, right? It's fascinating. Um, it's really a great time to collaborate with other people. Um, and we did that collaboration back in 2012. Imagine that. The pre-Socratic philosopher, Heraclitus said, I'm screwing up all the names here. Don't even bother asking me about actually pronouncing names. All is one. Writers gave Optimus Prime until all are one. Avengers lyrics, together we fight as one. Fascinating. No, it's an inspiration that happens all the time. Nervous Suit. Alphatron's monologue on how all are one in Transformers 1 was great. Absolutely. Captured the spirit of the Autobots perfectly. 100%. Steven Detta. I self-published a comic book back in 2003. Awesome. What was it called? Um, Jonathan Chong. Oh, Diamond. That company tried or tries to monopolize the market of comics. Yeah, they failed. Unfortunately, after so many years, after having a monopoly on DC and Marvel and Image, it finally came all crashing down earlier this year. Actually, it was actually a number of years ago. So it happens. The pacing on D17 book is great. It was incredible. It really was, and a much better pacing than Steel Breed. But Apocalypse War is actually very well paced. I consider it to be, very much so. Jonathan, so you were predominantly a letterer back then. I was a letterer, colorer, layout artist, graphic designer. I produced. I made both of these. The logos. I produced both of these logos. So again, I'm more of I'm a graphic designer, right? I'm a graphic designer, so that's where my strengths lie, right? Typography and design. So that's why those two. That's my contribution to much of the work there, as well as lettering, of course, graphic design. I also did all the special effects in the work in the topography. So and I did the same thing for Delta 17. So whenever you have like boom or do or foom or boom boom or like wham and badoom and swoosh, right? All that kind of stuff, right? All those special effects and the choices on how that the speech balloons and how they run and all that stuff. I'm trying to look at another really good example. So yeah, right here, there's another one, right, where you know picking different fonts for incantations, um, trying to differentiate the different speech patterns from each of the characters, right? Choosing who's speaking for what voice, right? And trying to differentiate and make it much easier for everybody to understand who's speaking at any one given time, right? All that kind of stuff. So yeah, primarily I was a literist. I'm not gonna pretend like I was an artist. No, I'm a graphic designer. I'm a graphic designer, and that was the strength, and that was my contribution to the whole. And of course, writing the story. I wrote the story of Steel Breed. Um, Rick Cage, superb. Delta 17. Never read the comics, but I've got the figurines, and they're awesome sauce. You should read the comics, brother. You should read the comics. The comics of Delta 17. This sets the entire story. You have the each of the characters in here has a very pivotal role, and you should definitely take advantage and read that. It's a very wonderful read. Peter, do I ever sleep? Yes, I do, but you wouldn't know it. You would not know it. MFK 30J. Which movie do you think will do better in Hollywood? Motu movie or the Disney Snow White? Um, there's a Disney Snow White. I watched that wasn't that from the 40s? Um, I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. Motu is the only thing I have my radar on. Snow White? I didn't even know there was a movie. What's it about? I mean, does it have the dwarves? Peter, Jay, why did they come out with Masterverse? Is that still classics? No, it is the new version of classics, if you will. It's like it's seven and a bit scale. Um, and they came out with it because they wanted to make more articulated toys. Classics, as much as awesome as they are, they has very very limited articulation. A lot of people still complain about that, and Super Seven is still using that outdated buck even today. It's crazy. Peter, classics never hadn't had an attack track, did they? I don't think any other attack track has ever been made yet. Wonder why? Mostly because the attack track, unlike the battle ram, was well known for being a motorized vehicle, and I think the Four Horsemen at the time, because it's very difficult to make vehicles and playsets. Um, I think they only had budget for certain amounts of things, and I actually don't think I don't think the I don't think the classics versions of any of the classics vehicles sold particularly well. I think that they sold enough, but they didn't do well. You can ask Scott Knightlick about that. He obviously knows the numbers, but I believe that because of that, it was very difficult to sell the line on vehicles and animal mounts. It was very again there was a very big risk. Like the price point between from the inside looking out now, the price point between an action figure compared to a vehicle, compared to an animal, compared to a playset, you start literally ramping up the cost exponentially. So vehicles are very expensive to make because you can't reuse any of the molds. Nerd with a suit. Peter, classics, they were more geared towards old school fans and wanted the best version of the original stuff, 2000X, and by 2020, the people behind it decided they were done. From what I've gathered, there is a lot of that involved as well, but it's not nearly as cut and dry as that. Um, so it is what it is. Um, yep, I like Masterverse more than classics. There are a lot of people who have made the entire switch, but I think that they're always going to be fans of the classics. I mean, like it is still to this day the longest running Master Universe brand, sorry, line of action figures that has ever come out. So it's incredible. Um, yep, it does suck since that's what you're mainly focused on. But if you can complete the collection on classics, you really should. Um, Let's get the Anti-Eternia Classics He-Man and Battle Cat since the Classics doesn't have one. They do have Anti-Eternia He-Man on Classics. Anti-Eternia He-Man does exist in Classics. Hold on for a second. Um, I know for a fact he does exist. Yeah, Anti-Eternia He-Man does exist in Classics. That much I do know. So, that's he was released under the Classics brand. So Anti-Eternia He-Man does exist. Anti-Eternia Battle Cat, though, that's a different story entirely. He did that does not exist. Pixel Dan covered Anti-Eternia He-Man a number of years ago. So yeah, um, I'm pretty sure now his price point has gone up considerably though, ever since the comic books and everything like that. But yeah, there have been customizations made by Joe Amato. He made a Master Universe Anti-Eternia Battle Cat. So if you're willing to pay the customized price, you can definitely get it done. But yeah, Anti-Eternia He-Man definitely came out for Master Universe Classics. So you can still find him. He is available on eBay, pretty sure. But yeah, Anti-Eternia He-Man definitely did make an appearance on Classics. Um, let's see here. MKF40, you're a great graphic artist, letterist. Did you ever watch? Thank you, brother. Thank you for that. Did you ever watch Bob Ross or Mr. Rogers as a kid? Of course I did. And isn't it amazing how he painted crazy detailed landscapes in 30 minutes? It really was. I always was fascinated by his overall demeanor. Great guy, very quiet, and I did enjoy those episodes. It's kind of funny too because they were actually very mundane, but they look cool. They were cool. MKF30. Oh, I'm sorry. The new live Snow White with Rachel Zegler? Rachel Zegler? It caused some controversy over the year. Okay. Who else stars in it? Is there anybody else in that movie? Wasn't she in Shazam? Zegler? Rachel Zegler? I thought she was in Shazam. Um, Justin, do you think Club Grayskull will offer niche figures like the background characters that a lot of people might not want Mattel Creations to stick to more popular characters? If they do that, they'll really piss off a lot of people. That was done a lot in Master Universe Classics, like deep cut characters that a lot of people just did not care about, and it caused a war between Scott Knightlick and Michael over at Retroblasting. I mean, like that was like one of the capital reasons why Michael made a couple of those videos. That there were a whole bunch of characters that a lot of people just did not ask for. So I don't think that they would make that mistake. I hope they won't make that mistake again. And I know what you're saying. Would they make some of the background characters, um, what are they called? The residents of Eternia, the residents of Eternos, right? Some of the people of Eternia, right? Um, the farmers, the merchants, all those types of things. I don't think so. I don't think that they would do that. It just um, financially it doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. I just don't see it. Super Mario Brothers 3, Mega Retro. It's good to know that you collect other stuff. Long before I went into the rabbit hole of collecting action figures, I was still and I was and still am collecting CDs and cassettes from the 80s. Great hobby, excellent hobby. At the end of the day, all physical media will eventually degrade. It happens to comic books, it happens to cassettes, it happens to CDs. Magnetism wears off. Magnets wear down. Magnetic tape wears down. CDs rot. There's just so many things. But at the end of the day, they're wonderful to collect, and it's not like you're going to listen to every CD every day. You know what I mean? So it's a great hobby. So I'm glad to hear that you have amazing hobbies. Super Mario Brothers 3. Um, Another soup. If we were to get a DreamWorks She-Ra toy, Masterverse is one of our best hopes. Absolutely. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet, but I do believe it has something to do at the end of the day with the fact that I think they tried with Barbie, Barbie style character. I can't actually. You know what? I have no knowledge. I'm not even going to pretend. I have no knowledge of She-Ra action figures. Um, I know that they did a Barbie limited edition um, version of Catra, She-Ra, and for San Diego Comic Con. I know they did that. I've seen it around a bunch of times. But I think that didn't they do a line of kids figures when it was being released? I have a vague recollection of that. Um, Um, Rick Cage. Uh, the word the word for sound renders in words onomatopoeia. Mega J, there's a DC character with that. Ah, I didn't know that. Cool. Onomatopoeia. Um, let's see here. Justin, the Vintage Masterverse stuff will take over classics or perhaps Origins will because of the character selection. This is probably true. They're getting very close, but honestly, I don't think it's at this point. It's still not possible. They're nowhere near the number of characters that classics has. If they're able to continue as they are, it's possible. But I don't think they're anywhere near the number of characters that classics actually got to. It's amazing. Classics is an incredible line. It's very difficult. Um, yeah, he's $100 loose now. That's actually cheap, Peter. Believe it or not, that's actually cheap. I mean, if you're looking for like classic He-Man, I think it's under 20, 130. I think in some cases, some people are asking stupid money for Skeletor, right? So that's actually a cheap price. If I were you, I'd take it. That's actually a really good price. Um, there are new Thundercats debuting in a comic called Thundercats Lost. Yeah, I have seen it. I haven't read the books, but I have seen the books. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Oh, Gal Gadot, really? Gal Gadot is in Snow. Who the heck is she? Snow White? Who? I'm confused. I'm very confused. Um, Peter, I will be lost without Jay and his insight. He knows that is not true. That is not true. But thank you for saying so, Peter. That is not true though. Rachel Zelger was in Shazam 2 and the West Side Story remake a few years. Okay, so I know who she is at least. Um, do you think that the Four Horsemen dragon will fund? Yes, I do. I think that the Four Horsemen dragon will fund because they're diehard Four Horsemen fans. It is a pricey endeavor, um, and I will say that I think the dragon will fund. I'm not sure about the extra parts. I don't know if that's actually going to make it. The extended, the extra wings, the extra flame effects, all that kind of stuff. I don't think so. Um, no, I can't even say that, but I'm going to say I'm not sure about those. But I think the dragon will 100% fund. I really do think so. Super Mario Bros. 3. Mega J, we need an official fake Ra, aka Faker, fake her action figure. Don't you think so, Jay? Um, are you talking about Shira? I'm guessing you're talking about Shira. Um, I guess so. I mean, it's not out of the realm, but that's not the way Hordak doesn't play that way, right? Hordak is not like Skeletor. Hordak doesn't need to be sneaky. He's very direct. You know what I mean? Like, he's got his own ways of being sneaky. I think Skeletor is always trying to break into Castle Grayskull and is always trying to claim the power of Castle Grayskull. The Horde has already taken over Etheria. They don't need to sneak into the Crystal Castle. It's something they don't understand or don't really care about, right? I think that Shadow Weaver might have some sort of interest in the Crystal Castle, but other than that, I don't think it's really something that needs to be done. Would it be done? Would it be a cool experiment for one of Hordak's minions? Maybe Grizzlor makes a fake her or a fake Ra. That might be interesting, right? Where um, you know they sort of come up with a plan, a sort of scheme to infiltrate the Whispering Woods or something like that. But then that would actually lead to the idea that they would discover where the Whispering Woods was, right? So there's a lot of there's a lot of sorry there's a lot of things where it really wouldn't fit in with the mythos, in my opinion. So you'd have to sort of write a really good story for that. I think that that's really the issue with a fake Ra or a fake her, right? But I think it would be fascinating to see one for sure, with blue skin or green skin. I don't know. It would be kind of neat for sure, 100%. Um, Mattel needs to stop crossing OP brands like TMNT, Stranger Things, WWE, Motu altogether when they don't have much in common. Maybe the Thundercats and Motu share traits, but still, I think out of all of those, I think you're right. Thundercats and Motu is probably the strongest of that tie-in. But I actually didn't mind Turtles of Grayskull, and I really do hope it continues. That I think is a really good concept to try and continue. But again, it's tough. There was suit kind of at Super Mario Brothers. There's kind of an evil version of Shira in the reboot. However, it's based on the first one's tech corrupting the sword, and through it, Adora herself. It results in drunk Adora. See, yeah. So I really do think that there has to be some good story behind it. I think it would really need something like that. Bethany Beth is in the house. What's going on, Bethany? Long time. No see. No, I've seen you. I've seen Bethany. I've always see Bethany. Good to see her. Good to see you, Bethany. Hi, Jay. Update on my hero. It's out for delivery. I think here in the UK for the Mattel. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm very excited about Hero. I really am. And I saw a review of the hero figure. I think they sent out one to Optimum Bus. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name. I'm just stupid like that. Um, and I think he did a great review, honestly. And I love the fact that it is back metalized. I think it looks amazing. I'm so excited for it. Um, let's see here. Peter, an anti-Eternia Shiro would have been neat to have too. So yeah, that would. I think there does actually. I think there is an anti-Eternia Shiro. They just haven't really talked about it because licensing issues. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. Jonathan, actually, I think it was probably because of the fact that she was the evil horde at one point. Anyway, it's a whole different thing entirely. Jonathan Chong, go watch the Snow White trailer. Okay, sure. Maybe I'll watch that right afterwards. Duels. Oh, hey Jay, what's going on? How's it going, Duels? Oh, good to see you, brother. Just a moment. Do you collect wrestling figures, or did you ever in the past? I occasionally collect wrestling figures. As you know, I found the John Moxley twice. So I mean, every now and then I'll collect wrestling figures. Like I have, I do the WWE wrestling figures from O2 scale. I have done that, but it's not my main line. It's not something that I'm really concentrating on. I mean, that's something I think I have to just be very clear about. Um, MKF30. Rachel Zelger plays Snow White, and Gal Gadot plays the evil. Okay, that makes sense. She's young. She's old. Um, but another people out there are rooting for Gal Gadot in the movie. A number of people, I guess. Let's just say Zelger has a lot of not so smart things to say about it. Okay, sure. Um, Fine. I don't care. I don't think I'd be watching that movie anyway. Um, let's see here. Uh, Rick Cage. I don't know about the beef between Michael and Toy Guru. I don't know about the beef between Michael and Toy Guru. Thanks, Jay. Gal Gadot is the evil queen of Snow White. I don't even recognize her at first. And Wonder Woman and the Martian are my favorite DC supers. Absolutely, 100%. Let's see here. Just a moment. I love the crossovers. They make the brand feel more fun and interesting. Let's keep it fresh. Absolutely. I'm all about anything Motu. All right. Even if it sometimes doesn't make sense, I'm still on board. Peter, there's a Battle Cat figure in humanoid style that looks. Yes, I love that actually. I'm very much looking forward to picking up that figure. The Nervous Suit crossover wise, I'd actually do some more girly stuff, and I wouldn't mind Gem Shira crossover. That would be neat. Maybe it can also be Gem's bands cosplaying as their favorite princesses. The only problem is that Gem is actually technically owned by by Hasbro. I'm thinking, I believe it is Hasbro. I believe Gem is actually technically owned by Hasbro. So, um, and now it's actually now it's actually with loyal subjects. So there would be a bit of finagling to get that done. Now, Mattel and Hasbro do actually have a license together, a bunch of licenses together. GI Joe, Transformers, a whole bunch of stuff. So it's not outside of the realm. It's possible. Justin, I wish there would be more anti-Eternia stuff. The color scheme is really cool. It is, but it's a really niche one. So um, I'm not sure if that would ever happen. Dual Zo, hi Jay. I like the figure of Shira, New Eternia, and oh, I love them. I love them. I love the way they look. I know a lot of people are reading into the way Shira's face doesn't really look the way they expect, but you know what? It's not bad. And a lot of people see a lot of different people in there. So I'm very excited about those two and what they bring to the table. I'm very excited about Hordak for sure. Justin, I wish that the other He-Man versions from the other dimensions would have beasts besides Battle Cat all the time. I hear you. And I think I think that if you look at the the Bionatops, I think that, that would really be a good example of another mount, another creature that He-Man rides. Same thing with the T-Rex. So I think that there's an example of that. Justin, did you see the McFarlane's new Mortal Kombat figures? They look good. Yeah, but it's not like they haven't been making Mortal Kombat figures before. They've been making the Mortal Kombat um, video game figures for a while now. So, but in terms of like the classic Mortal Kombat figures from Mortal Kombat One, yeah, I'm 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 definitely down on those. Duels, duels. Oh, I have no hope for the multi movie. I am optimistically um, hopeful. I'm optimistic. I don't have much in the way of that much faith on it, but I am optimistic on it. So we'll see what happens. Justin, hope Mattel gives us some Motu DC crossovers over the figures line. Yeah, I'm hoping so too. Going back to those roots, you never know. We might actually see it again. Peter, I had a crush on Jen when I was a kid. She was truly, truly, truly outrageous. There were the suit. McFarlane has some issues with DC. I guess it's because their Mortal Kombat stuff is as good as their. I don't know if they have any issues. Um, I think that well, I guess that would explain how he lost the license, but I don't know. Maybe you're right. It's possible. I guess we'll find out. Actually, we'll never find out. They're not going to talk about it. MKF30. Yeah. Do you think it's crazy how these companies like Mattel, McFarlane getting DC license again, in Mattel's case, and McFarlane getting Mortal Kombat again? They're doing Mortal Kombat 2 figures, especially excited. Yeah. Yeah. Everything's going every which way. People are like snatching up licenses and holding on to them as long as they can. It's just the nature of toys and nature of licenses in that sense. So it's not it's fascinating, but at the same time, it's just another day at the office for these guys. Never the suit. Yeah, they may have been me here, but I did a 180. I changed my mind. Shira's head for the new Eternia figure looks great. There you go. Like I said, you give it some time. Give it some time. I think that it's fabulous. Dulzo, the Storm Arena figures look very good. Hope they get new KFL figures. They're expensive though, man. They are really, really pricey. I do like them. I'm hoping that they bring it down to a price point which we can all afford because this new arena scale of 1/12th or 1/16th, I think it's 1/16th. I can't remember. Somebody help me out here. I can't remember. I think it's 1/12th, right? 1/12th? 1/12th scale? Anyway, I think they look great. They look fabulous, honestly. Um, Justin, if the Motu movie releases in January, February, then it's not going to be good because that is where companies dump bad movies. Well, it's actually not slated for either of those dates. I think it is June, I believe. I believe I read June. So let's hope. Justin Mohan, do Tokaru still have his channel up? I don't know what's it's calling. It's the same thing. He got his channel back. He got his channel back. I don't know what the drama was. I do know what the drama was, but I don't know how that was resolved. Nerve the suit. I can still get over Todd's excuse. I still can't get over Todd's excuse for why he won't make more female characters in the DC line. It was just ridiculous. Pardon my intensity. I don't understand. But I think at the end of the day, um, there is a parallel between um, the relationship that people feel that, and this is actually a common thing. A lot of companies feel that female figures don't sell. I don't know if that's actually a fact or not, but I think that that is the standard answer. Having said that, I'm glad we get female figures. I think they look great. I love sexy action figures. There are sexy men, there are sexy women, and there should be enough room for everybody. That's I believe the way everybody should look at that. I think there's room for everybody. Um, Justin Mohan, if DC movies are big hits and McFarlane will miss out on a lot of cash. This is true, but it was his to lose, right? I think that's really the point. It was his to lose. I don't know why he lost it, but he lost it. Star Near looks very way different than the Jada stuff. Yeah, and they're way bigger. The arena, they do look very different, but I think that's a good thing because they're alpha. These are Super Street Fighter, right? So it's very very important to distinguish those two. Um, I will say though, How to Train Your Dragon 3 was released in February, and that movie was incredible. I am looking forward to the How to Train Your Dragon live action. I am really looking forward to it. I'm hoping that it does well. Um, I'm especially since Gerard Butler is actually Hiccup's dad. I love that. Rick, Submarine is in direct competition with Jada. The figures are 1/12 and $25. Yes, um, which is a great price. That's an incredible price, especially compared to their regular. What scale is it? It's like they're like 8 inches, right? They're like 8 or 9 inches. It's freaking crazy. But yeah, I'm really much more excited about that. The fact that they're $25, that's incredible. Um, so we'll see. We'll see exactly how that runs. Um, yes, it was an anime movie, correct. Peter, the guy playing Adam looked okay to me at least. Yes, he does. He's now that he's bulked up enough, and they're swapping Man at Arms with Idris Elba. It doesn't bother me, and it seems like it could work. Yeah, I think it's fine. I really have no problems with Idris Elba. He's going to slay any role that he's given. The guy will slay it. The guy's an incredible actor. Um, but I've always said, and I will maintain this, it's always very difficult for me to separate my vision of Man at Arms because Man at Arms has always been Duncan. Man at Arms has always been, that version in Filmation, that version in, classics, in vintage, in the. So it really is just hard for me to see it yet. But when I see Idris Elba's performance, I'm almost 100% sure I'm going to fall in love with it. So looking very much forward to seeing that. Um, MKF 30. They're over the suit. Yeah, it could be that Todd likes Mortal Kombat. I'm sure that they appreciate that Spawn in Mortal Kombat 11. It's probably more of a business decision, but yeah, I think that probably he enjoys it. The dual zone. The figure of Maximum Spider-Man is very expensive, in my opinion, for being a Marvel Legends. Apart from the figure has no texture or Spider-Man who's web sculpted in the suit. I think that's really less of a concern. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is going to be a new price point," and blah blah blah. I don't think so. I think that this is the first figure in the line, so he's much more expensive with all the extra accessories. And I know a lot of people are going to say, "Well, Black Widow had the same number of accessories," blah 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 blah. But I'll say this: um, is it wrong for them to make a brand new buck and price it at the point that it is for an introductory character with a number of accessories? That's marketing. That's how that works. And it's going to be with the most popular figure in the line, bar none. It will be with Spider-Man. What's going to happen next with the Hulk? I don't know. He might be a little bit more expensive than a deluxe. We'll see. But after that, when the buck starts being circulated to everybody else, pretty much like the Bucky Cap mold, it's going to come way down in price. I think that it's probably going to come down to $25, maybe $35, um, which is a jump. I'm not going to say no, but I don't think that everyone. I think everyone should just calm down. I think that they're going to reprice it out to what the market needs, and if they don't do it properly, they're going to have to readjust, just like they always do. I think that's basically how that goes. The Nervous Suit. I would buy so many merch based on girls shows if they made them. I would love an Ada Cawthorn from Owl House. Yeah, there just has to be a market for it. There has to be enough people like yourself to be willing to buy it, and that would be great. Um, Something that the Toy Biz did. Okay, I don't not really sure. You're gonna have to elaborate on that. Um, let's see here. Scott over Tommy. Jada's Scooby Doo looks way fun. Grabbing them all, they look amazing. It's the figures that I didn't know I needed. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I love it. I just absolutely love it. There with the suit. I would have picked Snyder to voice Skeletor. Dana Snyder to voice Skeletor. Snyder is Shake from Alpha Team Hunger Force. I am not kidding. Oh, that's cool. Peter, I would like to see Leto's Joker from the Snyderverse, where he had long hair and acted absolutely crazy at the end. I was shocked at how he changed it up. Huh. I didn't really mind the Joker from the Snyderverse. I thought he was okay. But would I have really picked him to play the Joker? Maybe not. That much is a more difficult thing. Guys, thank you for joining me tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure being here. I did want to highlight one more thing before we go because um, this came across my radar, and I was actually surprised because I didn't even know that it had launched. But I do want to give a shout out to a good friend of the channel and fellow Canucklehead, um, Adam, uh, who's doing a wonderful new Kickstarter. Alan Adam Pelletier. I can barely pronounce anybody's name tonight. My brain is just not working. Um, Pelletier, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong, but he's doing a wonderful new Kickstarter for his action figure line called Space Zombies from Mars. Um, the launch video is a bit of more of a tease than it is a launch video, but I think I think you can pretty much get space. And I do believe there is a comic book planned for this line. But it is interesting to see again the how things get produced. And I did want to give Adam a shout out here because I think that this line has a lot of potential, and I'm hoping the best. I'm wishing the best for him and everybody who's involved in this project, because there is a lot of obviously if you're into zombies, it is a fun little line that he's trying to create here. Right now, they've been able to raise $25,018 of a $118,000 goal. They have 23 days to go, so plenty of time to back this if you guys are interested in zombies from space. Um, Again, I don't know much about the story, unfortunately, and I think that they need an updated teaser video. I think that would really help. As Adam's a great guy. If you've ever met him, um, sorry, that's Arlen Pelletier. That I think that's the creator, but Adam Drake. That's I don't know why. Again, my brain's not working today. I have no idea why I said that. So yeah, Adam Drake, a great knucklehead up here in Canada, is trying to get this off the ground, and the line's looking great. They have a whole bunch of different military figures like Guy Garrison here in the military, coming with a whole bunch of different accessories, backpacks, swappable hands, fists. Um, I'm not sure. I think those are ailerons. I think, or sorry, aerials. Sorry, aerials. I think those look like aerials. I think they have a fully automatic weapon, sidearm. Obviously, the space helmet. He's got two swappable heads on this one, and I think there are additional stretch goals if they actually make it. So that's interesting. He's also got a dossier file. So I don't know. Again, I don't know much about the story. I do believe there is a comic book associated to it, and they do look amazing. These figures. Julia Stryker, science officer, looking very cool. Comes with much the same pack out, but also comes with these two, I guess, robotic arms. I don't know if they attach to the backpack or not, but they really look cool. She also comes with something that looks like a Carium Nugget and an old school, or is that a DSLR? I'm thinking it's a DSLR camera. Um, Interesting. That's a great pack out as well. And again, I think that the stretch goals will eventually become um, with if they actually reach that far. Um, we also have Red Walker in the military who became a zombie. I think that there's also a gimmick in here where you can actually swap parts of their limbs. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I do believe that that's the case. If you look here, there actually will be some additional part swapping, I think. So that's really neat. This one also comes with a broken helmet, and I do believe the helmets are actually interchangeable. So that's always a lot of fun. This one also, if you reach a stretch goal, will actually have two additional heads. So that's really cool. And then there's Red Walker Science. So basically, it's and I think that that's really how the gimmick works. I think that if you look at here, this leg appears to be this leg here. You see what I mean? So I think that's the sort of thing that they're going for. But in the terms of the stretch goal, if you look at this leg, it's actually on the right. But if you look at the leg for the stretch goal, it's on the left. And I think you see that here on the science officer. The stretch goal is on going to be on the right, but the leg that's on the zombie is actually on the left. So it's fascinating how they're going about this. Really clever too, I think. The sculpts are looking great too. Obviously, if you're into zombies, these really look kind of disgusting, and you can see all the flesh hanging off of their bones and stuff. So that's really cool. I really do like how that is coming about. And then there's even a glow in the dark version for the Kickstarter exclusive. This one's going to be neat. Comes with a brand new backpack and a really smashed up helmet. And it actually comes with three different head sculpts. So that's actually really neat. The other two, think need to be unlocked. So this is really neat. Love the disgusting nature of this is just really cool. I really like it. Um, and I think again, I guess they are doing the glow in the dark Kickstarter for I don't know what that is. What is it? Prometheus, original soundtrack, music telling the story of the space zombies from Mars. So I guess this is one of the items that you can actually pick up. They do have a comic book, 32 pages. So that's awesome. So I think you can also support them that way. And of course, they have stretch goals. They have the Spike Spectre Retro, which comes with all of these wonderful accessories. And again, there's some additional options later. He also comes with is that a helmet? I'm not sure what that is, but it looks really cool. Some sort of like alien looking helmet or mask. I really think I love that retro. I think that's why they called it retro because he's got that I guess that 40s or 50s ray gun, and he comes with one knife and that awesome backpack that comes with the other guy. So he looks cool. And at 190, so that's going to be unlocked at 180,000 or 126,000 USD. And then at 33,000 USD 500, 30,500 USD, Red Walker Retro will be unlocked, and I think he comes with all of his zombified parts. So that's always good. Um, and then at 137,000 USD, all of the additional hands are unlocked, including the flip the bird hand. If I'm looking at that right, which is a lot of fun. At 144,000 USD, Dr. Michael Locke, the medical um, uh, figure, comes unlocked, and that's at 144,000. And he's got additional head swaps, and later on, if they get unlocked, there are additional parts here. But he also comes with this chainsaw, I guess no, a buzz saw looking attachment, which is really cool, and a book. I don't know if it's a journal. I don't know if it's something, but it looks really neat. Um, so that's fun. And then of course there's Red Walker Medical. So I'm sort of thinking that a lot of these guys are definitely not going to make it out of here. So a lot of them, I guess they keep calling it Red Walker because it's actually on the Mars. So these guys are literally walking on Mars. That's why they call them Red Walkers. So that's really cool, and they don't decay in space, I guess. At 155,000 USD, the other additional parts of each figure actually get unlocked, so that's a lot of fun. So that's all the pack-ins for the additional zombies. And at 158,000, they unlock Georgia McBride, and she's an engineer. Comes with all these additional parts, including a guitar and a flamethrower. Sweet. I love flamethrowers. I love the new color schemes as well. Again, they're all basically very similar bucks, but they actually really are a very clever way of doing this releases. This one also there's also at 165,500 USD, the Red Walker Engineer gets unlocked. Again, another wonderful character. And then at around 169,000 USD, the head pack, the gruesome packs, get released. So it's going to be interesting to see how those come out, and more details to come. And if you were interested, they break down what the project budget would be. And this is a Canadian project, so it is in Canadian dollars, but they do have the breakdowns in American. And my browser is set to American, so this is actually the American goal, $118,273 goal, and they've been able to raise so far $25,018. They have 23 days to go. They have 194 backers, so they have a bit of a ways to go, but I think that they can make it. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Adam Drake and Adam and Arlene Pelletier um, for this wonderful project. And again, I wish them all the best, and I hope that this helps a little bit because again, I want to get some information out to people as much as possible for this project, as I think it's a great opportunity for these guys to try and make a new action figure line. Um, and again, this kind of was a surprise to me. I didn't think it was launched yet, but I started hearing about it from friends. So as soon as I started hearing about it and seeing where they were at, I decided that it's a really good idea to start talking about it on my live streams. And I hope that you guys might consider supporting the project, as I think it's a great project. I'm not the biggest fan of zombies, but I think that there are a lot of zombie fans out there, and this could definitely be something up your alley if you guys are into horror action figures and the like. But yeah, I think that it's a great opportunity for Adam and the team there, and of course the creators. So I really hope that you guys will consider supporting the project. And thanks for indulging me with that, guys. I really appreciate it. Um, It's always this crazy time when you want to be able to create action figures. And again, from the inside looking out, it is a tough game, man. It is a really really tough game. It's kind of crazy. Um, MFK30. The nervous suit, yeah, like he likes the super buff comic look. Yes, he really does. I really appreciate it. Um, let's see here. Jared Leto probably won't be Skeletor until the end of the movie. I don't think so. I think he'll probably become Skeletor sometime in the middle, or he might just start playing Skeletor right at the beginning. You never know. Um, let's see here. Peter, I've seen this and it's good. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I really am, and I wish them all the best. Um, they're also the ones who can make the call, so it looks like it's circular reasoning. People don't buy female characters because they don't freaking make them. That is really weird. That is a very weird um, line of thinking. Peter, I'm glad Funko Pops seem to be phasing out. I hate them, I hate them, and still own a few. I was never into Funko Pops. I'm very vocal about how they're not toys, but I don't ever wish for any line to wind down too quickly. I hope that they're okay, and they now own Mondo, so I really hope that they make a decision to either start making real action figures or how how their exit strategy is gonna work. So we'll see how that plays out. Justin Mohan, so many toy Kickstarters a year. It's just so much fun. I agree, and I wish Adam all the best on this project. Um, thank you too, Justin. I hope you're doing well, brother. Long time no see. We should definitely get together. Um, I hope it makes it too. I really do. And I wanna bring as much attention to it as possible in my own little way, if I absolutely can. Um, they do look high quality. I think that they have a great partner. And I don't know who they're. It's the Kickstarter itself is it has all the information. You guys should definitely check it out. Search Space Zombies from Mars. It should come up right away on Kickstarter. Um, uh, Rick Cage. Nerd of the Suit. Bobby Valla made an all female wave in his Action Force line, and it's sold out twice. There you go. That's a really good point. That is a really great point. Nerd of the Suit. DreamWorks She-Ra fans are so hungry for more merch. The few that got made for the show is still being bought a lot. The SDCC Super 7 She-Ra and Catra now cost $700 to $800 on eBay. That's crazy. That's crazy. Peter, toys need to be one of the highest qualities these days because they're for adults now. Yes, especially when you're marketing directly to adults. 100%. And the Target doll of She-Ra unopened already has going prices for near vintage Filmation She-Ra dolls are looking for, and Mattel is not jumping on that. I'm not sure. I think there's still some sort of legality between Mattel and DreamWorks, so I'm not exactly sure how that is playing out either. So it'll be interesting to see if and where that starts to go, in what direction. Funko can't make toys for some reason. That's not true. They did the Savage line. Yeah, they did the Savage World line for a while, so I think they can do it. They choose not to. Peter, they could dig up what's left of the previous actor who made Skeletor. He wouldn't even need the makeup now. That's hilarious, dude. And please don't make fun of Frank Langella. He is just an incredible actor, and um, I loved him there, and he's still alive. He's still alive. Frank Langella is still kicking, man. Frank Langella is still kicking, and so is Alan Oppenheimer. So please don't be making fun of those two. They're amazing. Justin Mohan. Foco tries to keep everything under $10 and it doesn't work. They had a Rick and Morty license and they wasted it. I don't know if they keep it under $10. Toys R Us has them as high as like $35. It's just kind of stupid. MKF30, Mega J, have you ever chatted or did a collaboration with that Mad Hatter TMNT guy? All the time. I actually we produced an action figure together. It's called Flipor, and I will be showcasing him at Toylanta later this year. By the way, guys, I'm going to be at Toylanta in a couple of weeks. So if you guys are heading to the show, I would love to see you guys there. Um, Rick Cage, how many figures did Valiverse make? Quite a few. Uh, we all love Frank. I think Frank Langella is a very handsome man in a non-traditional way. He looks amazing. He's incredible. What a great actor. Um, and yes, he is alive, so don't count him out yet. Jonathan Chong bought Funko. Funko bought the rights to the Turbo Man design, and they made that toy, so they can. Yes, they can totally do it. It's a matter of why and when. I was thinking of the actor that chopped off Anakin's arm. Oh no, that's different. That's Sir Peter. Sorry, that's Sir. That's um, Sir Alan Lee. He was Sauron, and he did all the Hammer horror films. Yes, unfortunately, he has passed. A great loss to the industry. He was an incredible actor. He was also in the Man with the Golden Gun. MKF Freddy, crap, that's awesome. Didn't know Frank and also Perry White were in Superman. Yep, yep, he was awesome. Still is awesome. Just Mohan, will there be a new indie company at Toylanta? Tons, tons. I don't know if there will be any new ones, but there are a lot of indie. It's also PowerCon, by the way, guys. It's also PowerCon. So yeah, there's going to be lots of indie companies there. Um, yes, Christopher Lee. Exactly, it was Christopher Lee. Nerd with a Suit. Christopher Lee was also born in 1941. Yep, his Saruman was epic. Absolutely, absolutely. So guys, thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you guys. I might as well go ahead and say that I am going to be a guest at Toylanta. So I'm just going to bring that up. Instagram slash Toylanta. So yeah, I will be a guest at Toylanta. There's going to be a lot of great special guests at the show. And it's going to be happening March 27th to the 30th. Um, 28th, sorry, March 28th to I'll be arriving the 27th, but it is March 28th to the 29th in Duluth, Georgia. And of course, I will be there and I will be showcasing Flip Ore um, at my table. It's going to be an awesome time. And again, I will actually be bringing a couple copies of Steel Breed and Apocalypse 4, along with Delta 17 War in the Shadows, for you guys to take a look at. I probably will announce something that I'm going to be working on with my friend Danny around that time. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. But if you guys are going to be in Atlanta, Duluth, Georgia, around the 20th through the 30th, please stop by Toylanta and PowerCon. It is actually the spiritual return of PowerCon. I'm going to have a couple of panels there, mostly Master Universe related, as well as a tribute to one of my good friends who passed away recently, Ryan, and just be and yeah, it's going to be a great time overall. And I'm going to be probably on a panel with a couple of other great toy tubers. So guys, definitely check us out. I will also be there with the crew from the Realms, um, uh, JP and Carlos of the Badass Reviews. They'll be showcasing their brand new maquettes and designs for their action figure line, which is also coming up from the realm. And you guys can meet them there at PowerCon as well. It's going to be a great time, and we're going to have so much fun talking about action figures, talking about Master Universe, talking about She-Ra, talking about the whole nine yards, and everything in between. It's going to be a great time over at Toylanta. There are going to be a lot of other special guests and celebrities there too. I do believe that. Let me just center out a few people since we're here. Um, let's see here. I see some of the companies that are actually going to be there. Um, we have Vendor Showcase, Map of the Lost Treasures. These guys are awesome. We also have the 9 to 5 Warriors. They're going to be there, Justin, since you asked. So they're going to have their new product line on display. It's going to be a lot of fun. They also have, oh yeah, the exclusive. There's Big Dub. Good to see Big Dub. But they do have what are they called? A Mythic Legions exclusive. No, sorry, this is Cosmic Legions exclusive. So he is definitely going to be only available at Toylanta. So you don't want to miss out on that exclusive. As Big Dub is showcasing, Savage Crucible is going to be there. Um, Same thing with Warlords of War. They're going to be there as well from Glylo, from Man or Monster Studios. I think that's who they are. We also have the Beast of the Mesozoic Era. They're also going to be there as well. Creative Beast Studios. Um, One Six Shooter is going to be there. Trevor, sorry, Trevor's going to be there. This is going to be awesome. And of course, he did the photography for Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, and obviously is well connected with the Four Horsemen. So wonderful stuff. Great, going to be great to see him again. Um, and the great Sergeant Slaughter is going to be there. Always great to see this man. He's a freaking living legend. Same thing with so many others. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom are also going to be there, as well as um, Monster Force. These guys are going to be there as well. Fresh Monkey Fiction. Um, yeah, Grindhouse Toys is going to be there as well. So yeah, a lot of indie toy manufacturers, and of course we're asking about celebrities. TMNT celebrities: Paige Turco and Ernie Reyes Jr., April O'Neil, and Raphael or Michelangelo. Definitely going to be there. Awesome stuff. Um, so he's also Kino. Sorry, I forgot Kino. So great TMNT alumni that are going to be there. The great Pixel Dan is going to be there signing his book, and of course, it's always great to see Dan at Toylanta. And for cosplayers, Newt and Johnny Havoc, of course, these guys are just killing it. They do amazing cosplays. You have to see them in person. Robo Don't Know, he's going to be there as well. So obviously, if you want to see Robo, and of course, the great Daniel Benedict, who is directing the Fall of Grayskull 2, incredible. And they're actually going to have a screening of Fall of Grayskull 1, the re-edited version. So if you want to see Daniel Benedict's masterpiece hit over 1 million views, you guys have to watch it. It's amazing. Um, Michael Charles Hill, who was the writer for and creator of Cold Slither and many of the most famous episodes of Transformers and GI Joe. Definitely have to, and a creator of many additional characters. And Joshua Sky, who wrote many of the Master Universe mini comics. He's going to be there too. It's my first time meeting Joshua in person. He's a great guy, and he's writing so many of the new lore for Master Universe. So it's going to be great to meet him in person. And the great Shartimus Prime. Awesome to hear that Shartimus is coming. It's going to be great to see him again. Always have a great time whenever we see Shartimus. And if you're in the Power Rangers van, Steve Cardenas is going to be there. So definitely, if you want to see the Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, he's going to be there in person. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, and if you of course want the exclusive figure, the Artillery Team Leader, Alt 25, you definitely have to pick him up at Toylanta. This is the only place that you can pick up this particular exclusive figure. So you definitely want to head over to Toylanta this year for the Cosmic Legions exclusive for Toylanta. So yeah, guys, I definitely once again I'll be a guest at Toylanta this year, March 28th to the 30th, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see all you guys there, and of course, definitely pick up your exclusive Alt 25 figure. He's going to be amazing. He looks in freaking sane, as you guys can see here. So much fun. And of course, a lot of people are calling him heavy duty, Roblox. Call him what you will. He looks freaking amazing. So, really excited about seeing this guy in person and picking him up. So you can see some comparison time with different figures. Definitely head over to toylanta.com. Toylanta on Instagram and toylanta.com. You can pick up tickets there, guys, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I forgot, the Four Horsemen are going to be there. Why didn't I say that before? Yes, the Four Horsemen are actually going to be there selling and talking and distributing. It's going to be a lot of fun to see those guys, listen to their stories and everything about the Four Horsemen development of action figures and working with Mattel, working with so many different toy companies. It's always been a blast for those guys. So yeah, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure spending some time with you here tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's always great to see you guys here. We are going to wind it down, but thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope to see you guys at Toylanta. If you guys are going to be there, it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys will also be able to pick up those exclusive figures, and of course, support From the Realm, support Zombies from Mars. Please check out both of their Kickstarter pages when they go live. Absolutely, Peter. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Rick Cage, thank you, brother. Really appreciate it. MKF, for we ever go to New York Toy Fair in the future? I would love to go to New York. Anything. The problem is staying in New York. New York is really, really expensive. I mean, like I've heard stories of $300 a night hotel rooms. So I just don't have that kind of those funds to actually go there. If I was going to go to one, I think I would end up um, staying in New Jersey and driving every day to go there. So that's the kind of thing that's just really crazy, really nuts in order to actually get that done. If not, I'd have to go to some of um, the outer skirts of Manhattan. You know what I mean? Like somewhere far. I have to figure something out because I understand it's really expensive to stay in New York. Andre Gonzalez, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing tonight? Um, Peter, I like Dan. Dan's amazing. Dan is incredible. MKF30. Paige Turco, I saw. She's gorgeous. Absolutely. Princess Cagali, what's going on, brother? Always good to see you, man. Oh, you missed my entire segment on the anime section. Please rewatch it. I think you'll really have a lot of fun reliving some memories from the anime days where you and I just, we're throwing it down. It's so great. The guest lineup looks really, really cool. I can't wait to see you in Atlanta, Princess Cagali. That's going to be the highlight of my weekend. Trust me. Trust me, it's going to be amazing. We're going to have a lot of fun. For those of you guys who don't know, Princess Cagley is one of my longest supporters, especially on my Patreon, and I can't wait to meet Princess Cagley in person because that's going to be amazing. Thank you, brother. Nerve the suit, Nighters, Night, my friend, and MKF30. I hear you as New York writer hotel. Oh wow, hotels are pricier. Then again, everything is absolutely. The prices are just going astronomical. But one day, my friend, one day I will make it out to New York for sure. Guys, okay, Jonathan, last comment. Yeah, driving or transit, I stayed in the Coros about the price. I didn't pick up my mother, booked it for me and my aunt. It was like $300 a night for a two bedroom standard room. Wow, wow, that's crazy. MFK30, as a native New Yorker, I mean, ha ha ha, all good. Thank you guys for spending some time with me tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe. And as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Princess Cagley will get the last word tonight. I most definitely look forward to meeting you, my brother. It will be my absolute pleasure to meet you, 100%. We'll talk soon, okay? Thank you so much, guys. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe. As always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Good journey, everybody. Geek proud.